misconceptions. We've got truth in our possession. No room for doubt, no time to waste. It's time to put flat earth in its place. Here comes the smackdown.
Welcome everybody to Tuesday Night. I'm your host, MCToon. I hope you're ready for the SmackDown. Tonight I am going to be looking at some videos by a guy who calls himself 33 with the Sun, or with the Sun 33, or the Sun with 33. I don't know. He has a couple different variations of it, but that's who is we're going to be looking at here. I sent him a message on Instagram. I didn't know that was a place where it seemed that I could contact him. He has a website, but I couldn't see a email address. I didn't look that hard for the email address, but his TikTok, he says he doesn't post on TikTok anymore, but Instagram is where to go. So I messaged him on Instagram and nothing. He didn't respond yet. It's not been that long. No fault of his. But he has said that he wants to debate, so look forward to that. And I've renamed him to 33 Can't Get It Right. Yeah, he can't get anything right. So if you look at the progression of his videos, like a year ago, he wasn't doing it really much flatter stuff. So, but he was always. It seems like he's always been into the derp. He's committed to being wrong about stuff, and so no surprise that somebody that's that invested in being wrong would be wrong also about the shape of the earth. So that's you know what they say on the internet, you can be anything. Why choose to be wrong about everything? I don't know. Some people, that's their calling in life. Anyway. Yes, Nomad Universe. I'm aware. I'm familiar with this particular flavor of derp. So let me get up this. There it is. And I've been amazed at how incredibly wrong and ignorant so wrong and so ignorant at the same time. It baffles the mind how somebody can be so consistently wrong on top. It's just like he's never right. Like sometimes you're like, every once in a while you should expect somebody to be right, maybe, but no. That's where people are like, maybe he's a Poe. Maybe he is because how could he be so wrong on so many things? Anyway, we'll see here. So. And man, yes. So yeah, apparently Mikey Smith is live. I'll you know what? Let me see. Is Mikey live? Because if he's live, well, you know what? Even if he's not live, doesn't matter. I'm gonna give him a ringy ding. Give me a second here. Let me get this going here, because he needs a little consoling after this after the little hard time he had last week there. So let's do this.
What time is it? It's time to phone a flip.
Right. Thank you. What's that? Sure. Thank you. I did not.
stop bothering me, do you? What do you want?
Well, I wanted to say hi. How are you doing? Aw, squawk that chicken, Mikey Smith.
Is that your new play toy?
No, it's yours, Mikey. You're the one that has it. I don't have one. That would be you.
Well, you're going to get one when you drive through Regina.
That sounds so wrong in so many ways. So I was not happy that the guy tried to punch you, Mikey, but I'm glad.
I know it's good for entertainment. It's good for entertainment.
It was good entertainment. I'm glad he missed. What did you wind up doing with him? In case, hold on, people, if you don't know,
that's the thing. Nobody asks questions.
People
Let me
don't.
explain.
Hold on, Mikey.
There was actually 2 reports of him doing something. So it wasn't just me.
Oh,
and that's why he went to jail.
He did go to jail. All right, so people don't know, Mikey. Do you want to explain what happened?
Well, yeah, I was sitting there watching the fireworks. And after the fireworks, people were filing out. And the gentleman beside me, the 2 guys in the back, were using foul language in front of the ladies, and I suggested for the ladies to grow up and get some men that do not swear and treat you with respect.
I just want, Mikey, you mean you would never swear, right?
I swear, but I wouldn't swear like that in front of a lady to impress them.
You never swore in front of a lady?
Well, I've sworn because I was mad, but I wasn't doing that to impress them.
Oh, okay. So
at 18,
so there's different versions of it's fine if it's not to impress a girl, but it's wrong if it's to impress a girl.
It doesn't really matter. So on the phone here, can you explain to me why there's what's the word I'm looking for? The craters on the moon. Some of them have points in the middle of the craters. What would create the point in the center of the crater, which is convex, not concave?
When it gets concave, not convex. When it gets cold, they tend to do that.
Yeah, I know. You don't need to be talking about your manhood. I know that. I know they're small. That's good. I'm talking about when it's warm, supposedly up there because of the sun reflecting off of it.
So
don't talk about your inverted stuff. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about there, Mikey. That's a little why do some craters have
points in the middle? And why do the shadows never move in the craters?
Well, they do.
No, they don't. No, I've recorded them in the moon like hundreds of times.
But the shadows do move across the craters, Mikey.
Oh, do they? Okay, you show me your footage then. Show me your footage. Yep. Yeah, I'll wait for that too, like Red's rhetoric bullshit stuff. The thing is, you'll never produce any of your own evidence. That's kind of weird.
But Mikey, why would you say that, Mikey? I went to Antarctica.
Yeah, no, here.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my bleeping. That's my bleep. When I swear now.
That's a good. You should definitely do that because apparently, according to some guy I heard on YouTube, it's not cool to impress girls by swearing.
Whatever, just whatever you want to take and work with, take it, man.
So,
take it,
all right. So, Mikey, have you ever seen the slow motion where they drop a water drop onto water, and then what happens is the water goes down, and of course there's a whole bunch of waves that go out laterally. But then in the middle,
that's a bad example. You need to get a
hold on, Mikey. Just a second, Mikey. Let me finish. Very bad example. And then in the middle comes up a little bit right in the middle there. So that is it's something similar to that. Now it's not a bowling ball on sand because when the meteor, asteroid, when it hits the moon, it's coming at a very high speed, and so it explodes. So when a bowling ball hits sand, the bowling ball does not explode.
I know. Blah, blah, blah.
So anyways, what about moonworms?
Moon what?
Moonworms.
Moonworms. Yeah, I recorded one of those, yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a worm. I'd just call it I don't know.
Are you
an ejection of some sort.
Are you cereal?
Yeah, let's see. I got corn pops, corn flakes, some high fiber cereal. Cheerios. I just bought Cheerios yesterday.
Okay. You know, I live in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area here where General Mills is headquartered. That's where Cheerios come from.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yep.
Are you
All right.
proud of that?
Am I proud of that? I don't know. I mean, it's,
So are you live again? I'm not watching because obviously
I am
I'm
live. Are you live? I saw you were live earlier.
Yeah, of course. I had to restream because some fucker pushed my end stream button.
Wait, you're supposed to use the chicken instead
Oh, yeah,
of...
no, sorry. The fluffer, I should say. Sorry. Sorry for my language.
Man, Mikey, the ladies will not be impressed. Oh, the Drunk Debunk is watching your stream while you stream. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I know he's like is addicted to me or something.
Well, yeah, and so Mikey, let me just say, when you almost got punched by that guy, both Mike and myself were concerned because, I mean, if you were out of commission, then what would we do? We would have nothing. You know that. There would be nothing. We would just, we just shut it down and go home. That'd be it.
Yeah, no, I don't think you would because it's all about money with you guys.
But how could we have anybody watching if it wasn't for Mikey Smith? Right?
So you did not answer no to that, which is good. So it is about money with you guys. Yeah, interesting.
It is. I got to say, it is nice. It is a nice thing to get a little extra cash here and there. I got to say.
Yeah. So what are you going to take? You got a U-Haul behind you when you die with the casket? When you die, you're going to take all that shit with you, right?
No. I don't plan on that. But it is nice to have a little bit of money here and there, isn't it?
I guess so.
Yeah, you accept money from the government when the government gives you money, right?
Well, sure, why not?
Yeah, there
it's
you go.
Not enough. Sure, why not? Yeah.
So I mean, it's the same for you, really. So
but
nice.
I'm doing it for. Well, I got obviously health issues, but you're doing it for falsifying information. So.
Oh well, you should totally sue somebody for that. I'd love to. Oh hey, wait, you are. How is the Canadian Space Agency? How's that going?
Well, you'll find out.
I'm gonna find out.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
I'm giddy with anticipation. You have no knowledge of what's going on, of the progression of the case through the system?
Well, not right now because I have left them a message, but it is a busy week because of the holidays. So I'll phone them again on Friday.
Yeah, the holiday where you got sort of independence from England. Is that it?
I don't know. I don't look into that shit. So
you don't know. Well, what is today in Canada?
Canada?
Yeah. What is today? It's a special day, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Well, what is the day today in Canada?
Truth Day. That's every day for me, buddy.
Sure it is.
Yeah. Well,
but let's see.
I don't know.
Let's see. It celebrates the anniversary of the Canadian Confederation, which occurred in July 1st of 1867. Mm-hmm. There it is.
Good for that. Yeah, that's good. Anybody can read shit off of Google.
I did. That was nice.
Yeah. That means you're really intelligent, yeah.
No, it means I didn't know for sure precisely what it was, and I wanted to be accurate because, I mean, I know what Independence Day in the United States is.
No, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And I also at one time knew the lyrics to the Canadian anthem.
Yeah, good for that.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love. That's all I know.
Yeah. And all the bullshitting after that.
I if you say,
Yeah.
Anyway, so are you still live right now?
Absolutely.
And are you talking to me on a different phone than the one you're live streaming on?
Absolutely, because they'll be talking on the same phone as we will be doing on Saturday.
Awesome.
You'll be phoning me in Saskatoon. I'm going to the observatory again.
Oh, well, I will not be able to restream it. Maybe somebody else can, but I will be out of town. I'll be traveling. We'll be at a family reunion. So. Yeah. But
so do you lie to your family too? Do you do that, or how does that work?
Nope.
But you do.
No.
You tell them how they're spinning all the time, right?
Yes, the Earth has been measured to be rotating one time a day.
But what have you done in order to measure that?
What have I done in order to measure that? Well,
yeah. See, I've measured many things. I've taken pictures of things. So what have you measured as the Earth's rotating? What have you done? Can you send me those experiments that you've done?
So that would be a common tactic of the science denier, where they say that I have to do it myself. I don't have to do things myself in order for it to be science and to count.
Oh, interesting.
That's not how science is done. That's not how you refute measurements. So if you're curious about how people have done it, there are many experiments that people have done. Many times people have measured the rotation.
I want to do it. I don't trust people. I want to do it myself.
Then you should do it. Go ahead.
See, if I wanted to know what was in the sky, I wanted to record it, so I did. And that's what I figured out.
So Mikey, what you could do if you really wanted, you could buy yourself a fiber optic gyroscope. That would be one way to do it. Now, you don't need to get a triple axis one. You could get a single axis gyroscope and then have it horizontal or orthogonal to the vertical vector, right? And then measure the rotation that it outputs there. Now, you could then use that to determine your latitude. So without knowing your latitude, you could measure the rotation on a single axis gyroscope and determine your latitude.
Never change? How come the constellations never change?
Oh, that's easy. They do. That was easy. That was so easy.
No, that would. Oh, yeah. So that's. Oh, wow. That's horrible science. Wow.
No, it's. In fact, astronomy is one of the earliest sciences. It's called sometimes the original science. People have been precisely measuring the position of stars for centuries, and they move.
And they have never moved.
They do move. And so, Mikey, you know what?
The Big Dipper's never changed, buddy. It should be changing every day.
Well, how did you determine that?
What?
How did you determine that they must change every day? How did you figure that out?
Well, you're spinning in 3 different directions, and space is supposed to be expanding according to you.
Yeah, and so how much should they change every day? Did you do the work on that?
I don't care how much, but they should be changing.
They do change. Absolutely,
no, they don't.
do change.
You're lying. You're a lying son of a bitch, and you know
right
that.
Here,
why are you lying?
So I'm showing right now on my website.
Go measure the stars.
On my website, mctoon.net/Polaris, I have documentation from 1850 that Polaris was at 88.
Your documentation,
just a second, Mikey. Just a second, Mikey. 88 degrees, 30 minutes. So that's 1.5 degrees from the center of rotation. And it has
anyways, I gotta go. I gotta film my live stream, buddy.
It had an annual movement of 19.27
We're not going to talk
minutes.
for 33 minutes tonight, MCToon. Sorry.
So, and then in 1900,
13. You guys worship 13 minutes. Don't
then in 19.
Maybe we'll do 13:33. Maybe I'll end it on that. Right? Does that sound good?
So in 1900, it had an annual movement of 18.76 arc seconds. So it's typical. So if you're unaware, of course you're not unaware. You do not need to be the one to do the experiment or the measurement for it to count. That is a classic science denialism, where they have a standard of evidence that's ridiculously high. So no one person can do every single thing, right? You can only do some things. So the people that have done astronomy in the 1850s, which I couldn't have done because I wasn't alive then, but they measured the position of Polaris and they measured its annual movement. So I think my mouse has a little gunk in it, so it's not tracking too well. Got to clean that out. There we go. Anyway, so the stars do move, Mikey. Too bad. Pretty typical. He think about this. He thinks he's smarter than everybody else, but he's not. Anyway, Penguin J says, "Ooh, a milestone. Cool. A member for 13 months. Very nice." Evil Producer 1 says, "I found a new ad for a sandwich spread for Mikey." Oh gosh. All right. Here we go. Wow, Mikey Smith's Toe Jam, great for all your knuckle sandwiches. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's great. Good job, Mikey. Yeah, somebody should get some royalties for selling that. Thank you, Evil Producer 1. Basil promises MCToon and FTFE said he navigated a submarine. Should we take this literally or figuratively? I would tend to take it literally. So I don't know. I don't know his specific thing that he did when he was in the Navy. Was he the navigator? I don't think he was the navigator, but people often cross train. So I worked with a guy that was a quartermaster on a ship. And so part of his duties were to do the navigation. They did multiple different types of navigation. They did celestial navigation. They used the gyro compass repeater on the deck. So the gyro compass was inside the ship, and they used the repeater that was outside the ship that was linked to it. And he told me they would do things. They'd take their sextant, they would lay it on the actual gyro compass and to get measurements from it that way. So that was one of the ways that he did it. Another thing he told me was that one of the competitions they would do with the other quartermasters, the guys that was in charge would say, well, give each person a chart, and they would then chart the position themselves, but they were limited to the amount of information that they could use, and I think it was based just on the stuff that they were personally measuring. So anyway, and then at the end of the voyage, whoever was closest would win a prize of some sort. Anyway, there you go. Earthly Skeptic says Mikey has a faster proper motion than Polaris. Well, Polaris, to my knowledge, doesn't have a very fast proper motion. So, there you go. Anyway, PJ CNET is here. Are you still Flatty? PJ CNET, you need to give that up. To be fair, he was doing a stream when MCToon called and told him to do his live stream. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't about to stop talking. There's more of you here than Mikey Smith's audience. So anyway, here is 33 with the Sun 33, whatever. Yeah, PJ, when you want to come back, you can come back. So here it is. This will be quite something. So let's get this going here. All right, that's not very loud. Let me get it fixed here.
Day in the United States of America.
If the eclipse is right here. Yeah.
That's not loud enough, is it? Let me change this. I don't know why that wasn't very loud.
Please watch this. This happened today in the United States of America.
Okay, so I think that's better. So that was from April 8th last year. So watch this, right? Pretty telling.
If the eclipse is right here, yeah, then why is the moon over there? Oh, wait. Whoa. What? How does that happen?
Because we're in the middle.
Look, the moon is right there in front of the sun.
Wait.
But the moon is over here. Why is the moon right there if it's supposed to be in front of the sun? Here, I'm using these right here.
That's insane.
Do you see that? If the moon is right there in front of the sun, then why is it over there?
I'm gonna Google that.
That can't be,
That
So, before he gets into it, the way that happens is people lie. That did not happen. That was fabricated. And I know it was fabricated because nobody has ever seen the moon during an eclipse. And you can see where they cut it. It was a pretty obvious cut in the video there. So the thing is, let me make this super clear. The people that are faking things and the people that are lying about stuff are flat earthers. When you look at moon landing denialism, especially the ones from flat earthers, they fabricate things. They lie about stuff. Flat earthers are the ones that are lying and are fabricating things. They're the ones using Photoshop to fake things. They're the ones using CGI to fake things. I don't know how anybody could be that stupid. To think that that people didn't take off their glasses when they weren't looking at the sun. So dumb. And of course, during the eclipse, during totality, you take off the glasses. So for 4 minutes for us in Texas, we didn't wear anything while looking at the moon, right? Is what we saw in front of the sun. We didn't look at it through glasses. And I can tell you with 100% certainty, the moon was not out at the time. And of course, the moon that was in that video was about 3/4, which is about a week and a half, offset from when the eclipse was, because it's a new moon. New moon and full moon are 2 weeks apart. So that was just fabrication. And oh, I'm choppy. I don't know if I can fix that without restarting. Let me think about that. Yeah, there's some lag. That's gonna... It's not... All right, let me check here. Just a little bit here. Why is... Okay, 4K TikTok is still running. There we go. Just a second. Okay. Let me do this. I'll do a couple things here. Might help a bit. Go here. Do. All right. Well, hopefully this will help a bit. Okay. So tell me if it's a little better. It could have been related to the chat freeze, yeah. So this here, for some reason, still Chrome consumes memory and then it eventually dies, and I can't do much. I've disabled lots of extensions. So anyway, what was I saying? So flat earthers fabricate evidence, flat earthers lie. Okay, and then here's what happens: is oh, darn it! I thought that was gonna work. It didn't. Just a second. There. No. Oh my goodness. I'm having some issues today. Come on. Supposed to be switching. But anyway, okay. This guy. Now it's switching on its own. Awesome. So this guy wanted to believe that, and so did not critically analyze it. Nobody else in the history of eclipses has ever seen the moon somewhere else during an eclipse like that. Never. It's never been reported. And this guy's like, oh, that's proof. They are so gullible. So very gullible. And so with the Sun 33, you fell for it because you wanted to. And maybe, just maybe, you were happy to, and you knew that it maybe wasn't a legitimate source, but you still laid into it. So now, and so yeah, the people saying it, yeah, they fed this guy what he wanted to hear. His itching ears wanted to hear this, and so he gobbled it up.
So many people are saying that nothing happened on the solar eclipse what they don't understand is everything happened. There is more proof now that we live on a flat, non-rotating Earth.
Of course, that was not proof of anything, even if just imagine for a second if it was true. That would not be evidence for anything in particular. That's how dumb it is. Like, how could that support flat Earth? Because does the dirt pizza here suggest that the moon would be somewhere else? It does not. This idiot map says that the moon and the sun were overlapping at that time. So it would contradict this idiot map. That's how gullible he is. All he is like, this thing, which is completely unsubstantiated, doesn't match, therefore flat. That's it. That's just how dumb. How dumb.
What you got to understand now is, just like he said, I'm going to Google it. They're going to suppress all good information on.
All right, they didn't suppress anything. You bought a lie. You bought a lie. All right. Here is number 2.
So let me show you this again, because the first video I had Simon Dan trying to make fun of me, and the guy, in my opinion, is a moron. Because
all right. With the Sun 33 just accused Simon Dan of being a moron. This suggests that With the Sun 33 thinks he is very smart. So let me give this to you, With the Sun 33. Since you think that you are so smart, that you think that you are not a moron, you think that Dan is, therefore you are smarter than him, and Dan is a rather smart guy, has done a good deal of post-secondary education. So here's my offer to you, With the Sun 33, Andy. You put $5,000 in escrow. I'll put $5,000 in escrow. We both go and take the same university level physics test. Highest score wins the other person's money. You think that Dan's a moron, you must think I am too. And you must think that you are ever so smartly smart. Will you back yourself up? Will you put deeds behind your words? Or are you just a big talker with no walk? I think we know where that will go. Yeah, my fingers are blue. I was painting the field just for Ultimate tonight. So we do a summer program, and we needed to put paint down where the corners are. So there it is. Frocat says, lol. Toon thinks Flurfkin has $5,000 to put in escrow. Yeah. Tell you what, if you can't swing 5,000, how about 1,000? How about 500? I'd do it for 500. I'll take your $500. Right. Or just go, if you're so sure of yourself. This is easy money for you if you're certain. Right? Now, of course, I know it's easy money for me because I'm certain. I will put the money up. So, no, Jan Peterson, I was pure person. I was not. Anyway, back to the guy that thinks he's smarter than, well, everybody.
Because this map proves that the Earth is flat and looks probably a lot more like this than science is telling us. Now, right here it tells us the solstice. I showed you before, that's the sun, okay? Now, that track right there, that first track, that's the Tropic of Cancer, okay? The Tropic of Cancer is right there. So during the June solstice or the summer solstice, the sun is making a circuit out like this.
Wrong direction.
Okay, which explains why we get our summer, okay, in the June solstice. Now, as the December solstice happens, you see the sun moved out further now? It's on that track, which means it's on the Capricorn, okay? So there's the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer. The Tropic of Capricorn is down here. So now the sun is making wider circles to go out towards this whole area down here.
How is it making wider circles? What is causing the radius of the circles to increase? And then 6 months later, what is causing the radius of the circles to decrease? There must be something causing that to happen. Do you not have any information on that? This map is over 125 years old, so certainly for 125 years, flat earthers have thought this particular thing to be the case. And in 125 years, no flat earther has proposed, answered, has brought any reason why the sun would increase and decrease the radius of its motion. It's just blind faith religious cultism.
The Tropic of Capricorn, which is why our days get shorter here, because now the sun is going farther away and it's taking longer to get back. You understand?
But why would the days get longer in South America and in Australia? Because the sun is way too far away now. That doesn't make any sense at all. Let's have a look here. I've got this here. I got my camera set up again. I installed it today, right up there. Let's see if it works. Hi, hello. Nope, not working. Why not? Why aren't you working? Oh, the camera turned off. That's why. There it is. All right. All right, here we go. There we go. Now we're in business. Look at that. Here it is. So here is what he thinks the Earth is shaped like, right there. So here is the sun, right, doing its motion around here, and then later it does the motion there. But for why would when the sun is here, why would, that's a little hard to see, isn't it? Why are you going in and out, camera? What's going on? I don't know. And it's giving you the on-screen stuff. Oh my gosh. All right, well, that's not working. I just set it up like minutes before I started, and I'm like, oh, I gotta start. Anyway, why does it? Why does it, right, when it's here, right? I was in South America. I was down at the southern end of South America, and sunset was when the sun was over here, right? According to this derpy map. But in America here, it was closer to where the sun was, and it was dark. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. You're just talking crap.
Now also realize that it's a local sun. So if it's making smaller circles around here, it's going to be hotter in the north while it's circling the Tropic of Cancer. While it goes out further, it's going to start getting colder because it's local.
This guy doesn't realize that people live in the south. It makes no sense. Why would it get hotter when it has to be passing over the south significantly faster? Its linear speed must be a lot faster, and it has to spend less time over an area, according to that map, in the same day.
Okay, now when it gets further away, it's going to get colder and colder, and then this area is going to start to get hotter and hotter, and that's exactly what happens. And then it circles, and it circles, and it starts to go back in, back in, back in, back in, back in, back out, back out, back out, back out, back in. That's how it works. Just go.
It works that way because he says it works that way. That's it. It's just blind faith. This is a religion.
Go and pick yourself up one of these maps. I mean, and I don't sell them. I'm not trying to sell you one. I'm just saying the proof is right in front of your face, lady.
That's not That's not proof. That's not evidence. That's the claim.
Ladies and gentlemen, I predicted when I first started this that if this movement gets big enough, the truth is what I mean by this movement. But
And he sits here and lies. Seriously. All he has is lies. Everything about Flat Earth is lies.
if it gets big enough, there will put people with giant platforms to start making fun of us and doing this and that.
We've been making fun of you idiots for 10 years.
And that's exactly what we have right now. We have people like Simon Dan that try and make fun of me, even though I'm proving perfectly good points, and he can...
This is why I think he could be a Poe. Like, he's so wrong and so ridiculous. How does the sun speed up and slow down? What keeps the sun up? What causes it to go in circles? When something is moving in a circle, something has to be pulling it toward the center. What is it? It is not acceptable to say, don't know.
never prove a point. He just makes fun of me. It's sad, but this is what it's...
No, he's completely justified. You have only ridiculous claims and a misunderstanding of the globe.
come down to. I said this would happen, and I guarantee you what they'll resort to next is bigger people like Joe Rogan start making fun of us. But if he talks...
So this is again why I think he's a Poe. He's begging bigger platforms to go after him. I think he's just in it for the money. He just wants some cash, right? He wants to get people that are bigger to make fun, to mock him so that he can get a little more sympathy views.
about a person like me now, that will make me relevant. So they won't do that until they get desperate. However, this is just what they do, ladies and gentlemen. So don't be fooled by fools, okay?
You won't fool me. Don't worry.
Do your research. I love you all. If you want to learn more, I have a book.
I have his book. It's terrible. It's so dumb. It is parroting. It is. I mean, I got a stack of books up here, right? All these flat earth books are the same. They're all just repackaging of the same stuff in a different order. And his book is no different. It's so predictable. Every single flat earth book is the same as every single other flat earth book. They're so uncreative.
Okay, brother, so here we go, because I want to help you out here, because you're obviously concerned. I'm going to let you know that my one piece of proof...
All right. Please provide one single piece of evidence that we are not on a globe is what somebody's asking for. This is from TikTok.
You didn't watch the video, because in the video that you're posting this comment, I put the piece of proof in the video, and it's only about 3 minutes long. So you didn't even listen to that. I'm guessing you probably won't listen to this either. However, here's your proof. I have a telescope, an expensive telescope, tracking Polaris. It's pointed at Polaris, tracking it, plugged in, okay, inside a house, pointed at Polaris through a window. Now, I put this in 4 months ago, little over 4 months ago, and it hasn't moved at all. So it's tracking Polaris. So as my telescope is tracking Polaris during the day, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. It's still there. You just can't see it because of the light. So my telescope is tracking Polaris, and on the other side of the ball that we live on, China is looking at the North Star at night. They're able to look at the North Star, but at that same exact second, I could call somebody from China and say, are you looking at the North Star right now? You are? Okay, cool. Because my telescope is still pointed at it, and it hasn't moved. There's your proof. I don't know what else you need, honestly. All
right. So what is this? This is him not understanding the globe. All right. So this seems to be somewhat stable. So here we have, I originally drew this for the sun, but it's the same. So here's somebody in the United States. Let's put it right here. This is about 45 degrees north latitude, if this is the North Pole here, right? And so the angle to Polaris for this person here in America is about 45 degrees or whatever this is here, right? And it's off. Come on back. It's off this direction. Polaris is off that direction. So far away that these lines are super close to parallel. So close to parallel that we basically can't even measure how off they parallel they are. Now, this other one here, here's somebody in China, or here's somebody in China, and the same thing. They've got this angle, this line to Polaris. The same thing. It's the same Polaris on opposite sides of the globe, and you can see it. Okay, so sorry for the camera that kept chopping in and out there. So that is how somebody on the opposite side of the Earth in China can see Polaris, right? That is predicted. That is predicted on the globe, that two people opposite sides of the Earth can see Polaris in the same spot in the sky. Now, Mikey Smith, who I just talked to, also doesn't understand this. Why doesn't it move? Well, it does move. It moves slowly, and that's what the globe predicts. That's what the globe says. So if you're like, it should be doing this, you're not actually applying the globe. The globe says it should be moving very, very slowly, and it moves very, very slowly, less than 20 arc seconds per year. That's what we say. So, you don't disprove the globe by saying, how come it's not doing this thing that the globe doesn't say it should do? Okay, so I want this to be clear because it's going to come back in a second. He does not understand the globe, and he's taking his non-understanding of the globe and suggesting that his non-understanding of the globe not matching reality is a debunk of the globe, but it's just a debunk of the not understanding of the globe. The position of Polaris, the relative non-motion of it, the very slight motion of it, are predicted on the globe. He just doesn't understand it. And that's one of the key things that flat earthers constantly do. They do not understand the globe. Joseph M says, I think the biggest problem is they don't have a concept of how far away stars actually are. That's correct. They do not. They say, right, here's another tactic that they do. This is a very dishonest tactic. They say the globe predicts this, right? And this thing didn't happen, therefore it's not the globe. But that's where I ask them, well, wait a second. What is the actual computation for how far away the stars are and how much they should move? And what do they say when you get to that? Right? Because they made a very specific claim. They claimed that it doesn't match the globe. And so then they should very easily be able to produce the computation that they did for the globe. Right? Their answer then is, but I don't believe that. Or that's not true, therefore they don't need to compute it. Oh, no. Your claim was it doesn't match the globe, so you have to have already done the computation for it. You've already had to go through what the globe predicts. Let's see. Liquid Flame says, did the math. In the 4 months he claims to have had that telescope tracking it, it moved 0.15 arc seconds. There you go. Well, not only that, but it moves. It's about half a degree off of the center of rotation of the Earth, not of the Earth, of the celestial pole. So it will move 1/2 of a degree up and 1/2 of a degree down. So about a total of 1 degree of motion over 24 hours. So if he actually has an electronic telescope that's tracking it, it's moving 1 degree over the course of 24 hours. How did he determine whether or not it's actually moving 1 degree or not? Because that's the globe prediction. Did he check that? No. The guy just sat there and looked at it. It's like, my eyeballs don't see that it's moving, therefore not moving. That's the level of intelligence of flat earthers. That's it. How embarrassing. We got Yerba Mate Talks is here. Let me add him as a moderator here. All right. Here we go. How far away? Yeah. We got GCat, the Catastronaut says light years a star. Most are in parsecs or MPC or KPC. Yeah. Megaparsecs or kiloparsecs. And now, even though Star Wars got the whole parsec thing wrong, parsec is how far away something needs to be in order for is it an arc second? I think it's an arc second. Anyway, yeah. So if something has a parallax of 1 arc second as the Earth orbits the sun, that is 1 parsec away from us. So for Star Wars to use parsec, well, of course, we have a different, probably a different radius of our Earth orbiting our sun than other planets orbiting their sun. So a parsec would be different distances for every single different planet, potentially. Parallax of 1 arc second equals 1 PC away. Yeah, thank you, Eric. I was questioning myself for a second if I was correct on that. So it's funny to use that in Star Wars, and even funnier because they used it as a unit of time instead of a unit of distance. So anyway, all right. Let's see here. Basal problem. Donkey, why are you crying? Donkey's outside the door there, crying while Penguin's inside. Why are you crying? All right. Basil Problem says, MCToon, like the most recent TFE video ended with several Bible quotes. Do you think this is useful or appropriate? Will runs his channel how he wants to run it, of course. And I know that part of what he's doing is he's trying to reach out to existing flat earthers, and many of them are Christians. And so I think he's trying to tap into that Christian aspect of those flat earthers. So in that aspect, yeah, I think it's fine for what he's doing. That's the intention of his channel. So that's great. And I have to say, I think I'm often disappointed by Christians in science that that there aren't all that many that are actually very good at it. I think it'd be great if there were more. Right. And unfortunately, there's a lot of young Earth creationists, and I don't think that has a really a place in science. Similarly, I don't think flat Earth has a place in science. I don't see much difference between them, honestly, in how things play out. The difference, I do see a difference in that we can go measure the shape of the Earth today. We cannot get into a time machine and go watch evolution. So the way that you investigate it is dramatically different, but that doesn't mean that the evidence isn't there in either case. But what I do find similar is starting with the conclusion. Start with the conclusion based on a religious text, an interpretation of a religious text, right? It's not the only interpretation. It's just their interpretation. And then go try to shoehorn the science into fit there, right? Flat earthers do it, and young Earth creationists do it. Rather than, what does the evidence say? Let's just follow that, right? That's how it should be done, instead of starting with what necessarily must be the conclusion. Very sad to do that, and Flat Earth does it, and young Earth creationists do that too. Now, if a young Earth creationist started at the other side and said, I'm gonna analyze things, then that would be great. And if they did actually find evidence supporting some particular thing, then okay, fine, go, enter that into the scientific conversation. But I don't think that happens. I think it's done the opposite direction generally. So, but it's not my field of expertise, right? So I haven't examined the the field of papers and research and investigation into that topic from a scientific perspective very deeply. So anyway, GCat the Catastronaut. How am I supposed to? I want to say Catastronaut, but it's spelled like Catstronaut, but it doesn't flow. Catstronaut? Maybe. Okay. Says, same old tripes are frustrating. Yeah, and so this is a common thing. How do flat earthers proceed in their flat earth cult adherence, right? Well, they get this. They get this map right here. They watch Eric Dubay. And they look at that map. That's it. All the flat earthers that are on Discord, this is how they got into flat earth. Every one of them. Every one of them was like, that is it. That's what they thought. And then after a while they progress, right? But so this guy right now, he's of the opinion that this is the correct one, right? But he will get farther in at some point and he'll realize, oh, well, that doesn't work at all. Obviously, it's a big mess. Distances don't work. Angles to the sunrise and sunset don't work. There's a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, completely destroying that idea. And so then they'll wind up discarding this officially. Because they'll realize, oh, that doesn't work. And so they'll generally go to the we don't have a model mindset, right? And, hold on. Let me see here. There you go. Also, later, that was Austin Whitsett. He said that, and then later in his life, he said this. So there he does claim a model. Which is it, Austin? And of course, when the we don't have a model flat earthers talk, they talk about measuring angles to Polaris. Well, when you measure angles to Polaris, this is what you're talking about. You're describing this because they're saying that Polaris is in the center. And if Polaris is in the center, this is the map, right? So there's just a couple flat earthers that don't actually think that's the model. Just a couple. And they come up with more ridiculous ones. You didn't hear the Whitsett audio. I know why. Because of this. Hold on.
We don't have a model.
There it is. And then later he said this.
Our model, although not even specifically claimed or defined, is far superior to yours because it's limited and falsified.
There you go. So, of course, he's wrong on both counts. He does have a model, and the globe has not been falsified. Like, once again, it's the same thing. They don't understand the globe. They test their non-understanding of the globe and then say, oh, how come it doesn't match? Because it's not the globe. All right. Dave Kircher says, thank Titicaca, it's Tuesday, and thanks for Superman for keeping us attached to the spinning globe. Thank you, Dave. I was looking into playing Portal 2 on my Mac, and there's a good amount of things that need to be done to make it happen, and I wasn't sure that I wanted to, number one, go through that mess, and number two, install the things on here that may or may not conflict with other things. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. But I've still not played it. I was thinking about playing, though. I was thinking about streaming, playing co-op Portal 2. With enough motivation, maybe I will. GCat, the Catstronaut, says, Lightyear is a star. Most are in parsec. Oh, I already read that. Parsecs, megaparsecs, or kiloparsecs. And then she did correct me on the spelling of some sort, I think. She said, I'm a cat and an astronaut. Not in real life. Okay. And the Catstronaut that commands the cat ship Perseverance. Oh my goodness, so many puns. Fantastic pun, the usage there. D says, on a flat Earth, how does the day-night cycle in the Arctic work if the sun is a constant length away from the center point? Well, if you are at the actual North Pole on the flat Earth, on the dirt pizza here, if you're actually right there, then yeah, then that is the one place where it a little bit makes sense. It still doesn't make enough, but because you would always see the sun. There would never be a moment where you didn't see the sun. That's why it's so ridiculous. If it has to be some large number of miles above the surface of the dirt pizza, such a large distance above it that nothing would cause it to appear lower or low enough to set. All right. Pable73 says, I doubt if they understand or don't want to understand. They don't understand. This is the thing. We need to keep this in mind. There is a portion of the population that is the dumbest 1%. This is where flat earthers live. They are the dumbest 1%. So this guy actually thinks that he's so smart that he would call Simon Dan a moron. Right? That's how smart he thinks he is, even though this guy doesn't have any intelligence at all. So, all right. Anyway, let's get back to this here. We're gonna listen to what he has to say, because remember, just a second ago, he drastically misunderstood the globe. Okay, keep that in mind.
For most people, that should be enough, but here's the thing. We've been so indoctrinated and brainwashed for years with nonsense, with lies. I'm not surprised that that's not going to be enough. We've literally had lies implanted into our head, all right, via television and the
by YouTube flat earthers,
radio and the elite.
Goodness.
And all the people that we think are so great and all the people that we worship and glorify and idolize, these people lie to us. So yeah, of course we believe the lie, bro. I was just like you, but then I spent money on stuff I had to learn. I bought a Nikon P1000. I always understood that the boats are going over the curve, so I bought the camera. You zoom in, there is no curve. All right,
and there he's lying. I've got a P1000. It's right here. Right here. You see a boat that's partially obstructed. You zoom in, it's still partially obstructed. You zoom all the way in, it's still the same amount of obstructed. Okay? Now, let me show the evidence for that. Taken with a P1000 at the beach. All right, it's coming. It's coming. We got Big Dog says, I think flirts just love to think themselves as the ones who can see, that they're spiritually awake or whatever. They love the sense of pride in seeing through all the lies. You 100% nailed it. Flat earthers in general have been failures for a large portion of their life. And they lack meaning and they lack direction and they lack whatever, right? And a lot of them have struggled socially. And so now they discover flat earth and they're like, oh, it wasn't me. They lied and I saw through it. And so then they're like, they think that the reason why things sucked for them was because the whole system was wrong. And they finally figured it out. And Flat Earth Dave leverages this in people. He's figured it out. He has that shirt. He says, you're not dumb, it's dumb. Right? He is speaking to people that have felt like they are dumb. Now, the reason why people think they're dumb often is because they're dumb. And so he's leveraging these people who have felt that way and then validating them by saying, oh, you're not the one, you're not the problem. The problem is they, the nameless, faceless, the evil, evil people that have been trying to fool you. They made it seem so difficult and so challenging. And it's not actually that hard. It's really super simple. The sun just does circles. That's it, right? And they're like, oh, I figured it all out. Yeah. All right. Sorry, I was looking for this. All right. Here we go. So here is a photo I took in Pensacola, right on Pensacola Beach. You see that it's small in the background there? That's a boat, right? I can zoom in a little bit. This is just making the pixels larger. And so you see right there, the boat right in the middle. Okay. So I'll zoom back out. That's regular resolution, but you can still see it. And over the right, you see other boats as well. You see those, right? Those are also obstructed, but it's not quite as clear. This one here, you can see the superstructure of the boat, but none of the hull. None of the hull. You can see the white superstructure though. Okay, so that's zoomed all the way out. Here is mid zoom. See that? Mid zoom. Same amount. Same amount. Zoomed out, mid zoom. And here is zoomed in all the way zoomed in. Optical zoom all the way in. Same amount obstructed. Same amount obstructed. Same amount obstructed. Zoom did not bring back the boat. It did nothing. So when flat earthers say you can zoom back a boat, they are lying. They are lying. They're not truthers. Flat earthers are the opposite of truthers. They parrot lies. They repeat lies that other people said without doing their own research. So you hear them say that all the time too. Do your own research. I did my own research. Zoom does not bring back anything from over the horizon. Never. So flat earthers, stop lying. It's disgusting. All right. Basil Problem says, MCToon Live, your anti-F flat earth advocacy is important. Please comment on the impact of the Trump administration dismantling of U.S. science infrastructure, given the cuts to NSF, National Science Foundation, and National Institute of Health funding. I don't know the details of that. I have spent a little bit of time looking at the proposed cuts to NASA. And I can say a little bit on that. I can say that I don't like it, but I don't know if my particular pet project is any more important than somebody else's particular pet project. The things that I like the government to spend money on versus the things that other people want like the government to spend money on. I don't think, whose is the most important. I don't think that's something that I can answer. So I'm saddened in part by NASA getting the funding cut. But at the same time, I look at things like Artemis and I see the incredible overrun in budget. And that makes me sad too. Like, and how they're sloppy, they're over budget, their timelines are way off. And it doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence that they're going to do a great job of it. They're reusing hardware, right? They're using stuff from the shuttle era. That's okay. That's fine. It's cool to reuse the technology. And the point of some of the shuttle era stuff was we're doing technology research for future things. And now it's the future. And now are the things that those were doing research for. But then at the same time, you say, well, is that the right technology to be using for Artemis? I don't know. I don't know if it is. PhD Tony, this is absolutely. He says, you're not the person to judge which scientific projects get funding, but neither is any politician. There should be a merit-based assessment system, like there is. Oh, there is. Okay. So, yeah, certainly amongst the near the bottom of the list of people that should determine which things are the best science to get money is politicians. They're politicians. They're not scientists. They don't have the skill set to evaluate anything about what's valuable in science. So yeah, very, very true, Peachy Tony. So I don't offer any solutions. I'm frustrated with you all. How about that? Bruce Wolford, a follow-up question to my aeroplane gyroscope one. Well, hold on. Let me find your previous one. Where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Bruce. Question flatties need to answer is simple. What shape is their version of the Earth? Flat is not an acceptable answer. That's the only one they have. Who thinks he's going to be rich from doing his flatty videos? Yeah. Smart people accept things they don't understand and then try to understand what they're seeing. Dimwits simply ask others who don't know because they're mentally lazy. All right. Well, I don't find your first one. He says, a follow-up to my airplane gyroscope one. What navigation system is used by shipping companies? Like in seafaring ships. I know that military seafaring ships use the large ones use gyro compasses. Part of the reason why they use that is because ships are often made of steel, and steel can mess with a compass. So you don't get good directions using a compass in a gigantic steel vessel, because a compass needle is a magnet. So it will, being near steel will vary where it points to. So a gyro compass uses the rotation of the Earth, because the gyro compass is moving, it's spinning, and then as the ship moves, that causes a precession. And as the Earth rotates, it causes a precession, so that gyro compass will point north. And so often they will start it pointing north when they first spin up the gyro compass, but then they just keep it spinning indefinitely. And the rotation of the Earth keeps it oriented in the same direction. So that's one way. Obviously, newer systems like GPS are very popular these days. And prior to that, you would use celestial navigation. So that's they used a combination of different things. On the guy that I used to work with on the ship he was on, they used a combination of different things to get their position. They did not want to be completely reliant on just GPS in case it was taken out for some way. So anyway, so inquisitive infidel says feeling dumb is the same as feeling wrong and not knowing how to begin to correct it. It should be exciting to identify the borders of your knowledge. Oh yeah, I love that. I love when I'm like, I don't know this topic very well, but I can go figure it out. And that process of figuring out is so cool. And you know, flat earthers, they don't get to do that. Of course, part of the problem is, of course, they lack the critical thinking, they lack the background knowledge and skills to do that type of thing for complex topics. And so they get confused by the things, and then they're like, oh, Earth flat. And then they get this and they think that they've figured it out. But when you ask them things, they don't know. What keeps the sun up? They don't know. What causes the sun to go in circles? They don't know. What causes the radius of those circles to increase and decrease? They don't know. Why does the sun maintain constant angular size all day long? Constant angular width all day long? They don't know. What direction will the sun set according to this map? They don't know. Why does the sun do circles 24 hours a day in December in Antarctica? They don't know. All of these things they don't know. So they haven't figured it out. They haven't done what we did when we had some question about something and we figured it out. They had no idea. They heard some vague description. They're like, good enough for me. They don't know. They don't care. So yes, the puppy, I don't know why. So Penguin's in here, Donkey's out there, and I think Donkey wanted Penguin to come out. But now I think my wife just shut the door. Somebody just shut the door. So the door was open. She handed me pizza, which I've now consumed. And anyway, and that reminds me, I need to get me some tabs. You guys get your tabs? Go ahead and open them up. You need to get your tabs down. All right. Leonidas Chiron says, we learn to not enjoy being wrong and learning as we grow up. Being right adds to our social value, and there is a rush to being right. And those that hate learning seem to hate the sting of wrongness. I don't know. Like, I think that the people that hate learning, a lot of it is because they aren't good at it. Right? So, flat earthers aren't good at learning. That's how they got to where they are, right? And you know, like I said, there exists a dumbest 1% of humans. That just exists. Those people are not going to be good at learning. You know, it's not an insult to say that the dumbest 1% of humans exist. It's just a fact. So, Borgamporia says, what did you think of the debate review I did on FDFE's stream yesterday? I haven't watched that. So yesterday I had work, did family stuff, worked around the house, and did a little bit of video. I put a video out that went out this morning. I recorded another video that will go out not tomorrow, but Thursday. So I don't know. I didn't see. So, all right. Let's get back to how wrong this guy is. Well, I don't get it. He's sitting in a car. Like, he's sitting in a car.
Long distance photos of over 150, 200, 300 miles where you can see things. There is supposed to be curve.
Now, once again, flat earthers never, ever, ever get the globe right.
Brother, all right, there's supposed to be curve. Every 1 mile, there's supposed to be 8 inches in every direction curving away from you. And photographs...
He got that wrong, but I'm not going to correct him.
...prove that curvature does not exist. So not only are we obviously not moving through a galaxy if my telescope is not moving at all...
But it is. It's if it's actually tracking, as we mentioned, it's moving one degree up and down in a circle.
But photos prove that, wait a minute, there is no curve. Not to mention the telescope proves there is no curve, because how is China looking at it from the other side of the ball when I am still observing it on my telescope?
Covered that already.
And it hasn't moved. Riddle me that. So when I get these comments, oh, please provide a single piece of proof. Bro, I just wrote...
So that wasn't any proof at all. That was a misunderstanding of the globe. Now listen to this next thing.
A 240-page book, all flat earth proofs.
So this 240-page book, oh my gosh, it's terrible. It's so dumb. Let me see here. Yeah, here it is. Here it is, loading it up. All right. I don't know, like, he loves being wrong. He just loves being wrong. There it is. Here's his 240-page book. It's 191 pages, actually. But like I said, it's, what did I say? It's just a bunch of parroted memes. It's basically it. So let's look here. All right, come on. He talks a lot about symbolism. Symbolism isn't evidence. Symbolism is claims. So NASA and alchemy, the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show, as if that is evidence for things, right? You may or may not like it, but that's not evidence. Oh, jeez. It's every single thing just parroted, right? Let me see. I mean, Rob Skiba came up with the lie about what the word NASA means in Hebrew, right? And Skiba's been dead for a while, yet his lie still lives on. NASA does not mean what they say it means. NASA means, in Hebrew, NASA means to lift up. He has a clip of the thing from Skiba with the incorrect definition. So Nasha with an SH sound is a different word than NASA with an S sound. But anyway, the moon. There you go. He goes with that dumb moon map. He's like, "Oh, look. The moon is a reflection of the Earth." No, it's not. The moon is upside down. So now this is one thing that people get wrong. Globers do get wrong. On flat Earth, the moon would be a different orientation. It would. And if you were totally opposite, right? If somebody was due north of the moon and somebody was due south of the moon, it would appear flipped, upside down. But you would also see a different portion of the moon. A completely different portion of it. If it was small and local, like they say, right? If you are 5,000 kilometers north of the moon and somebody else is 5,000 kilometers south of the moon, and the moon is who knows how far up, let's say 5,000 kilometers, right? You both are going to be seeing a different portion of the moon, but we don't see that at all. Yes, and of course NASA is an acronym, not a word, but yeah, it's so much grasping of straws. I mean, look at how dumb this is. He has no information about the camera here. Nothing involved about the camera, about zoom. Nothing. No idea. This is how stupid he is. Right? Moon radius 1,000 miles. A photo of the moon from 240,000 miles away. Photo of the Earth from 240,000 miles away, with the Earth radius of almost 4,000 miles. Right? If Earth is 4 times larger than the moon, why is the moon larger than the Earth in all the photos? Because of zoom. You absolute, complete, total moron. You don't get to call anybody else a moron. No. Oh, no. You are really, really stupid if you don't understand this super basic thing here. Gosh. So dumb. Ugh. The moon and eclipses. Oh, dear. Yeah. He's talking about the size of the shadow. Doesn't understand geometry. Knights Templar. Like he just rolls everything in. Every single thing is a conspiracy. Yes, Oreo cookies are in on the conspiracy, people. Modern day Templars. I don't know. Let's see here. The boy who cried. All right. Anyway, it's not even as big of a book as he said it was.
200 pages of proof. So what do you mean? Prove it. Give me a break. I've done over 3,500 videos on Instagram, every one of them for free, and about 60% of them are probably flat earth stuff, all proving it. So I don't know what else you need.
None of that is proof. None of that is evidence. That is you not understanding things. You're not smart enough to understand things. That's the thing. Realize that you're not smart. Realize that you're not smart. The problem with dumb people is they're not smart enough to realize that they're dumb.
For me, honestly. If you need me to cram the information down your throat, then you're never going to learn anything. Because in order to learn something, you have to do the research. You have to look at it. You have to see it. You have to repeat it. You have to experiment. You have to do it over and over and over and over and over again. That is the scientific method. Doing it over and over and over and over and over again and getting the exact same result over.
Yeah, like measuring the magnitude of gravity, like measuring the movement of the stars, like doing celestial navigation using the globe, like doing surveying using the radius of the globe, like 100,000 commercial airline flights a day that all use the globe. How many airline flights use the flat Earth map? How many airlines use this map? None. 100,000 times a day, this is not used.
Over and over and over and over and over. There is none of that. Globe theory is make-believe. There is no globe that you can do this over and over. It doesn't exist. Therefore, it's not real. So please, for the love of God, I get laughed at and called a retard. Are you out of...
Yeah, rightfully so.
Are you okay? Are you okay? We could sit and have a debate. We could go live anytime you want. All right? Anytime. Just let me know.
I sent him a message on Instagram. I'll try to connect elsewhere too.
And we can go live and you can discuss why you believe it's real. And we can see who knows more about each side.
Okay, now remember, he did not know why somebody on the other side of the globe would see Polaris at the same time. He did not know that. Okay, pay attention to what he's about to say.
I do not believe in flat Earth for lack of understanding about the globe. It's
100%. You do not understand the globe. That's the problem. You do not understand the globe. You cannot debunk the globe without understanding the globe. You first need to understand it. A debunk of your misunderstanding of it isn't a debunk of the globe.
It's because I know so much about the globe that it is ridiculous at this point.
See, he's on the track for top left 2026. I mean, this guy is really, I mean, I think this is all just him making a run for it, for top left.
And is laughable. That is the problem. Then I learned about the flat Earth. Now I can explain why things are the way they are. But give me a...
You can't explain. I went over a list of things you can't explain.
Break. I love you all. This is obviously my opinion.
Your opinion is wrong.
Maybe I can post this video because it's my opinion, TikTok. Listen, if you really want to learn, number one, stay away from comment sections.
He does not touch his comment sections. So there's two kinds of flat earthers generally in YouTube comment sections. Those that heavily censor and those that never show up. He never shows up. He is completely oblivious to the comment section. And I like that kind. Because then the comment section on his YouTube, the comment section is full of people telling him what they really think of him. People telling him, right? Those words that he was using, yep, he earns them. You earned those names. They are correct.
Number one thing, you're not going to learn on a comment section. And number two, reach out. If you're actually a decent person and you don't come at people like me with insults, we'll probably answer your question or point you in the right direction for you to do the research.
No. That's what's so funny about it. What keeps the sun up? What research did any flat earther ever do to determine accurately what keeps the sun up over flat Earth? Or the moon? None. Nothing. You think it's acceptable to have a nothing for your answer for everything about how the Earth works? It's not acceptable.
I love you all. Go to my website for more if you want.
Yeah, his website is a mess. Man, the guy's so full of himself. All right. This one is titled How the Sun Works on Flat Earth. Are you ready for that? But, somebody asked me something. All right, hold on. Let's see here. I'm going to get this. Come on. Here we go. Okay. Nomad Universe says, here's one. Pick at the bottom specifically says that it shows the Earth curve. Of course, Dick or any other flair can't explain these photos. All right. So, here we go. Wind farm. Pick at the bottom. As seen from the Belgian coast, demonstrating the curvature of the Earth, the more distant windmills look to be underwater. Oh, look at that. So now, this is what's funny, right? Flat earthers will come up with all sorts of excuses, all sorts of words. They'll say, well, it's obscured by the density of the air. The density, but hold on a second. That windmill, the top of the windmill is actually a little bit farther away than the bottom of the windmill. But they're really about the same. And the density of the air from the bottom to the top hasn't varied a whole lot. So the density of the air isn't going to obstruct it. That doesn't make it work. Angular resolution, well, that doesn't work because angular resolution says that things that are farther away will have less detail. That's all it says. But again, the bottom of the windmill is about as far away as the top. Actually, the top is a little farther away. It's the hypotenuse of the triangle. So if anything is about angular resolution, the top should be obstructed, not the bottom. But how is it that if it's whatever excuse you want to make it, why did that make the top of the windmill vertically shift down? What caused the top to vertically shift down? That's the real problem there. Look at this one on the left. See that one on the left there? The hub of the windmill is barely above the water. So Dick Wayne, are you watching here? That hub is barely above the water. There's the entirety of the height of that, the stalk of that windmill that is almost all completely obstructed by something. What is causing it to be obstructed? And what caused the hub to get moved vertically downward? It shifted it. Something, according to Flat Earth, had to shift it lower. You don't know. You don't have anything. Nothing at all. This is absolutely unrefuted confirmation that the Earth is not flat. It's falsification of Flat Earth. Absolutely. It all they have is word salad nonsense, coping, escape words. It's all it is. Perspective. Yes, and Dick Wayne did get timed out. Let me see here. How long was the timeout? What did he say to get timed out? So there it is. Steele. He was only timed out for 10 seconds. And what did he say? You believe in the fairy tale that you were told as a child. Awesome. Admitting that this is the first and most important part of leaving the cult you're in. The problem is, though, Dick, is this right here. You can't explain this. I can provide geometry, optics, and physics explaining why this happens. You only have cope. Optics. Oh, what optics? You need to provide the optics for this. You don't get to just say a word. You just said a word, optics. There is no optics. I know the optics for what causes things to happen. I know the Rayleigh criterion and how it works. I know how the vertical pressure gradient in the air and vertical temperature gradient in the air causes things to appear different. I do know how that works. I do know the optics of this. All you have is to say optics, but I can cite the empirical evidence behind it, and you can't. Anyway, MCToon at MCToon.net, you sack up, you dig yourself, you get all that courage, dickity dick. You get all that courage. Just go get it. MCToon at MCToon.net. You will receive in return a Zoom link where you can explain and run through the application of the optics. Okay? It's not just saying optics. And you don't get to talk down at me. Yes, you do need to provide optics. You absolutely 100% have to, must mandatorily provide the optics. There is no option for this. You don't get to just say optics. That's what we call a claim without evidence. How did the hub of that windmill on the left get vertically shifted down? How? How did it happen, dick? Yeah. THC show. 100%. We know. All of us here know right now, the 583 of us minus you, 582, we all know you don't have the optics. You cannot present it. Optics is well explored, right? People make glasses. People make P1000 cameras. People do all sorts of things with optics. Snell's law is well understood. It's not a very complicated law. And the basically first year college level calculus is all you need to do an awful lot with it. So, dick, you need to provide the optics. So, and this is where a while ago, One God Is Now Here has been in the comment sections quite a bit, here and there, had offered to moderate a written debate between myself and Dick Wayne, right? And we would send in a written description of our position, right? This is how debates happened in the past. Scientific debates happened that way. They still do today in written form. And he had agreed to do it, and then he chickened out. So anyway, I got nothing in my email. Nothing in my email. Aldebrand Forrest says, Dick Wayne, do you know what an unmitigated ignoramus is? Anyway, there it is. Thank you for that. Let's see here. We got Basil Problem. The death of science in the U.S. is being spearheaded by a Christian nationalist movement. Modern day debate is wittingly or unwittingly their mouthpiece. Will you boycott that channel? No, I will not, because I don't agree with that position. I don't see how modern day debate is wittingly or unwittingly the mouthpiece of Christian nationalist movement. And I certainly don't think that the modern day debate channel has a wide enough reach to be causing the death of science in the U.S. Right? They're not that big of a channel. They don't have that big of a reach. So I don't think that's anywhere near the vicinity of the proper scope. All right. Oh, here we got Dick Wayne. That is not the story, bud. Just can't help yourself, can you? Constantly have to lie and misrepresent people. Very sad and disturbing people from an adult. I missed the part where you provided the optics. Dick. You didn't provide the optics explaining what causes the leftmost hub to shift vertically down over flat Earth. If the Earth were flat, nothing could ever be. behind the horizon. This is an application of optics and perspective. Poor Dick. Guy. Imagine living your life like knowing that they don't have an answer to things like this, right? To look at that and say, oh, let me look up the current COPE for that, right? They're like, oh, let me find the database of COPE for flat Earth, right? And what's the current prevailing lie that fools other flat earthers into thinking that this, soothing the pain of this being a complete failure for flat Earth, right? Just go look it up quick, right? Imagine living your life like that. I can't imagine living such a deep disconnect with reality. Yeah, sorry, Dick, you didn't provide any evidence. You didn't provide the optics. You have the burden of evidence. You don't know how this works. Oh, let me have Witsit remind you. Witsit. Can you remind Dick about when he said optics? Who has the burden of proof?
The person making a positive claim has the burden of proof.
Thank you, Austin Witsit. You are correct. Every once in a while, you are correct.
Now you have gotten to where you are just basically diverting the burden of proof. You're shifting the burden of proof.
Yes, very good. Now, Dick Wayne has already gotten, scorched enough by you.
You make a positive claim of specificity, you have the burden of proof of specificity.
Yes, I know. Austin. Shh.
You do understand, again, that positive claims require the burden of proof.
Whoa. Yeah, okay, fine. Enough. Anyway, so there you go. Dick Wayne, you have the burden of proof. You said optics. That's it. That's all you did. Saying, and yeah, you have to provide it. I can't believe it. Inquisitive Infidel says over and over means indoctrination of self. Well, he was talking about what he thinks science is about. Now, the ironic part is he's never done science. Right? Flat earthers haven't done science. Icy Spin says, Toon, are sunburns evidence of a physical sun? Yeah. Yes, for sure. Okay. Jack Fetter says, I feel stupid. All this time, it isn't the content of the videos that makes them accurate, but rather the number of videos. Yes, that's right. He's done over 3,500 videos. Therefore, he's right. According to him. All right. I knew that was coming because things weren't working right. Wonder if I could switch to using Firefox for that. Big Dog says super chat errors I got were from VPN. Fixed it. One thing I've never heard Flurfy address. We take a picture of a small speck of the sky and get 10,000 galaxies. What do flurfers say those are? There's a couple answers. The super cop-out method is it's just lights in the sky. That's it. Imagine being that uncurious about reality to just say it's just lights in the sky. The other end of the spectrum is they lie and claim that NASA is faking it, and that all of the pictures that anybody's ever seen of galaxies are manufactured CGI from NASA. Of course, amateurs can purchase and have purchased hold on a second, telescopes, and they have with their own telescopes done that. And so what do they say then? They say this is I think one of the most insane copes of any flat earther ever. They actually claim that NASA has installed technology in the telescopes to fake it. They actually say that. These are easy things to test, right? They say that without the slightest bit of evidence, right? These people have a blind faith religion that they would say something like that, because how could you think that was the case without having any evidence? So here's how you could test that. Point a telescope up at some object that you think, flatties, that you think is going to have NASA put something in there, and then put a piece of cardboard over the end of the telescope. You know, a piece of cardboard, something that NASA could not discover in the software, and then take a picture, then run the telescope, run the software. And if the galaxy shows up because it's pointed at the correct spot that NASA programmed it in to see, but you've blocked the light from getting to it, then it would still have to output the same photo, right? It would. It would have to. All right. What is THC Show talking about here? Hold on a second. Oh my goodness. What is going on with you, THC Show? Are you a little butthurt? I hold on a second. I don't know what this is. This and this, they don't seem to match up. So this looks like the top one here looks like he's doing this looks like a formula. Luminosity of the star, density from observer, and then this. Why? I don't get that. What did you do that for, THC Show? That doesn't match. Well, yeah. THC Show should just be for 10 seconds, because I don't think that needs to be timed out. I don't know what's going on there. Give him a chance to, yeah. I mean, people can, I'd prefer they don't. I think it's fine if they don't, but if people do, then they do. I'm not going to time them out. Don't time them out just because they swear. Okay. So I have, hold on. Where did I put it? I got an actual, a really cool photograph. There it is. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me do this for you. Just a second. I'm gonna grab it. And I knocked over my fan. I knocked over my fan. Who's okay? THC Show. Oh, THC. So you're gonna expose the fraud of the sphere. Tell you what, I not only will I not time you out, THC Show. I will invite you to join me live. Send me an email, mctoon@mctoon.net, and you can come on and you can present what you think is the fraud of the sphere live on here. Anyway, this right here you may recognize as a piece of slide film. Okay, this is so sometimes when you take a photograph on film, you get a negative. That's what you get. And sometimes you get a positive, as it depends on the type of film you're using. So I think that this is a positive, not a negative, though could be wrong. Anyway, this was given to me by Astronomy Live, who took a real photograph on real film. This is the actual film of a galaxy through his telescope. It's an analog telescope that he manually aimed. And there's a little light in here. There you go. And so you can't see it super well, but you can see on there that there is a marking on there. And I need to get a better scan of it to get a really good idea of what it is. I haven't done that yet, but this is an actual photograph on real photographic material, right? A real photograph by Astronomy Live. He gave it to me when I was in Florida. So analog photograph, analog film, manually tracked camera or telescope. So not something that you can blame on NASA. And Mikey Smith, who's like, you got to do it yourself. That's it. It was done by hand by somebody, not by NASA. So anyway, so the answer to the question, we take a picture of a small speck of the sky and get 10,000 galaxies. What do photographers say those are? Basically two answers. One is fake, and the other is it's just lights in the sky. That's the two general categories, and there may be outliers. Jack Fetter says, Flurf, confusion sets in, but I said nuh-uh. There you go. That's right. Lisa says, when's King Crew getting his book? You've been to Florida many times. He's missing his life partner. So this last time that I went, I had messaged him ahead of time and asked if he was going to be able to be there. And he wasn't going to be able to. So it was a Wednesday, and he lives in Miami, and I was in Cocoa Beach. Pretty far away. It would have been a pretty long drive. And I think he had some things going on anyway. So anyway, THC show, what's going on? I haven't gotten an email from you. All right, he says, a star 10 times farther should be 100 times dimmer. Yet Sirius, Vega, and Arcturus appear nearly equal in luminosity despite being allegedly vastly different in distance. So, well, that would be an interesting thing for you to present the actual numbers for, right? Show how you computed the luminosity. Now, I can tell you that there is somebody was in the chat, at least recently, Eric Burns, who studied this topic in detail. He was working on his PhD in that very topic. And he's been on my channel talking about this very thing. So how do astronomers determine the distance to stars? Well, number one, you need to understand the topic. And THC show, I can tell by your comments that you do not understand this topic. So just like I've been talking about for the last hour and 55 minutes, step one, you need to understand the topic, and you do not understand the topic. Just like 33 with the Sun does not understand the topic. So you're not going to debunk astronomy, the entire field of astronomy, by being ignorant about the entire field of astronomy. Joseph M., if THC show doesn't actually email, can you ban him for being a butthurt chicken? No. So here's what happens. THC show, you have made a bold claim about better not you did me, because I'm gonna show that everything sucks. But you didn't, right? You did make that claim, but you didn't provide the analysis of it. Your opinion of whether I understand is irrelevant. No. It's 100% correct. You don't understand the topic. You don't. This isn't an opinion. This is a fact. You do not understand the topic. Another thing, of course, is different stars have different luminosities based on more than just their distance, right? Different stars are different brightness based on the physics happening within that star. And we understand those different things about stars. So we say, well, this particular star is a star of this particular type, and it has a luminosity within this range. And we've previously measured distances using parallax to stars. And because parallax is a mechanical measurement, not a purely light-based measurement, it's pretty solid. It's just an application of geometry. So then we can get the distance to that using geometry, trigonometry, parallax. And then we can look at that star and say, well, it's this type of star. And we know that because of spectroscopy. Spectroscopy tells us the physical makeup of the star, tells us a lot about how it is functioning, tells us a lot about the physics in the star. And then we can catalog a bunch of different stars based on what type of star they are and how far they are. And we can then get a scale of how bright they are, the range of how bright they are. So then when we get stars that are farther away, too far away, now the examples you gave I don't think are too far away, but when you look at stars that are too far away to do parallax measurements on, we say, oh, well, by the spectroscopy we can identify this is the chemical makeup of the star. And so then we can know specific things about what type of star it is, and so we can know the range of luminosity of that star. And then we know based on how bright it is when we receive light from it, that tells us then how far away it is. Pretty cool stuff. Mikey's about to go on Arwen's show. Hilarious. Like Arwen's gonna go live now? Middle of the night there? All right, Eric Burns is the person I was talking about. He studied this topic at university. He was a PhD student for a while, and now he's teaching astronomy. So here we have an astronomy teacher versus THC show. I'm just guessing THC show. I'm just going to say burnout. That's probably all you are. Like, I don't see an email from you. I can just imagine. I can imagine the amount of intelligence that would come out of your face hole. Eric Burns says Sirius has an apparent magnitude of negative 1.46. Vega has an apparent magnitude of plus 0.26. And Arcturus has an apparent magnitude of negative 0.05. Those are all fairly different in apparent brightness. There we go. There you go. All right. Icy Spin says, I'll let you know. Yeah, if he's going to go live, then yeah. That would be great. Oh, man. And THC show says, good try, idiot. So here, this is what's great. THC show, I will offer this to you. I think you were talking to me when you accused me of being an idiot. Bless your little heart. THC show, here's what I will do. I will offer you, like I've offered others, I will put $5,000 in escrow. You put $5,000 in escrow. We both go take the same university level physics test. The very same one. Whoever gets the highest score takes the pot. And I know how much you like to take the pot. Will you take me up on that? Because if you're going to make that accusation against me, you better be ready to back it up, right? Email me mctoon@mctoon.net, and that $5,000 could be yours. But I gotta say, that's probably would be the easiest $5,000 I would earn ever. Have I watched Terry Tao's video on the cosmic distance ladder? I think I have. I watch a lot, or rather I listen to more. Like I'll listen while driving. I'll listen while mowing the lawn. I've listened to quite a few things on the cosmic distance ladder, but not enough to have to really just lay them all out like maybe Eric Burns could. So THC show here he goes. He's admitting that that he's the idiot. Says gambling with scammers is not my thing. You will be exposed. McLesbo. I will be exposed? How am I going to be exposed if you're not going to take me up on that offer? You're running away from it. You're the one being exposed. This is what's great. This is how awesome it is to debate flat earthers. They sit here, keyboard warrior in the comment section, when they have a chance to put their words into action, they chicken out. This guy is so bold that he would accuse me of being an idiot. Given the chance to back it up, he runs away. like a chicken. I love being right. Does that come off a little? And I'm just saying it's just because it pisses them off. It's not how I talk, but I just like to piss them off so much. So, all right, what did Eric say? Eric said something. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I met Eric in person, Eric Burns in person in Florida. It was great. TC show, if those numbers sound similar in apparent magnitude, remember that the magnitude scale is logarithmic, not linear. I don't think he understands what that means. That's the problem, Eric. It would be the Mark Beiser says, if that would be the easiest 5,000 you ever earned, you need to look into selling converted call options on stock holdings you own. I don't know anything about that. I was talking to a coworker of mine is like, yeah, I was doing that. Like, I think he was doing like, just like in a, not for real money, you know, like a fantasy football league style, doing stock option stuff. Anyway, Eric Burns says probably not, but here's hoping he knows how to Google definitions. Even here's the thing. The dumbest 1% of people, of which THC show is included, the dumbest 1% of people don't understand the topic, and no amount of reading on the topic will work to inform him how logarithmic scales work. Right? He lacks the capability to understand what logarithmic scales mean. And no amount of reading will fix that. He lacks the capability. Like, you know, a dog lacks the capability of turning a doorknob with their paws because their paws won't do it. They can't grip it. They don't have the opposable thumb, right? It's kind of similar to that. So, Borg Emporia, start of the stream. That's okay. So you were on with Craig. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, here we go. THC show. Sirius equals negative 1.46 equals /tilde 25 lumens. Polaris approximately 2.0 magnitude. /tilde 2.1 lumens. Yet they allegedly differ by 400 light years. Okay. What's the problem there? Why is that an issue? I don't get it. Why do you think that's a problem? Here's it. Yeah, this is what's so ridiculous. People actually study this topic. There's people that have written books on this topic. There's people that have actually done the math on this topic. There's people that have taken tests on this topic and apply what you sort of tried to do there with the math here that you tried to do, and are evaluated on their ability to properly do the math, right? And here's you. You've not done any of that. You didn't take an astronomy class. You haven't studied the topic of astronomy. You don't know these things. You know, maybe you have a telescope, but certainly the math involved here is beyond your comprehension. Yet here you are, thinking that you know more than astronomers that have studied this for years and years and years. GCat the cat astronaut says THC show and MCToon, I have a whole video about stellar classification. So there you go, pothead. You can listen. Burnout. You can click there on. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'll go to. I'll grab the channel. Here it is. Here's the channel. There it is. You can go and look at the videos, and you can become educated on how it works. Now, a THC show, I'm not calling you names. Well, I mean, burnout. Yeah, true. But no, I'm just doing that because it's a little easier than THC show. It flows off the mouth, the tongue a little easier. But I just want to make sure you ran away. You called me idiot. Okay, so get off your high horse there. You called me idiot. And then when given an opportunity to back up your assertion about our relative intelligence, you ran away like a chicken. This is the glory of debunking flat Earth. It's so easy. It's so easy when the flat earthers think they have something. Bruce Wolford says, I've watched GCAT's video on stellar classification. It's excellent quality. There you go. Let's get, is the one that's called What is Stellar Classification? Is that the one? Let's do this. Everybody. GCAT has 62 subscribers. We need to fix that. All right. There, I pinned another one. Go click on that. That's the one. I think that is the stellar classification. There. All right. She has 62 subscribers right now. There are 600 people watching. Okay. Can we do her a favor and get her up to 200 subscribers quick? Just pop over, click subscribe. Costs you nothing. Means a ton to her. Means so much to her. Even if you never watch, just having that subscriber number there larger means so much to an aspiring YouTuber like GCAT. So please go do that. I think it will mean a lot to her. Seriously, go do it. And then when you're mowing the lawn, when you're driving the car, when you're riding, when you're commuting, when you are going to sleep at night and you want to listen to something, pull up What is Stellar Classification on her channel and watch it or listen to it. And there it is. Go do that. So there you go. All right. Where did we go here? We were enjoying the burnout, running away, admitting that he knows that I'm smarter than him. Thank you for that. Eric Burns says, I may get back into video making soon. Once I have my school curriculum ready to go, I'm probably going to turn my lesson plans into YouTube videos. Awesome. Awesome. We got Ramen Ortiz says, we get it wrong. He's wrong. We covered that. And we covered that. Ramen, yeah, you're wrong. You're always wrong. It's your skill set. It's one of the things you do. Thank you very much for contributing. Before I move on, Tim Davis says, this morning I made Belgian waffle around lunchtime. I made a Frenchman talk BS. I made a Belgian waffle around lunchtime. Yes, a Belgian waffle. Got it. Okay.
So let me.
All right. Here we go. Let's, that was doubled, I'm sure. Here we go.
Use the Gleason's map to explain how the sun actually works. And it says it right on the map, okay?
This guy, he seriously doesn't understand the difference between a claim and evidence.
Now, this is where a lot of people show this, but I don't think they explain it too well. Now, it says right here, during the June solstice, in the figure, June and December, the white represents the sun's position in its respective months at noon. So the white, you see the sun? That's the sun right there. Okay, that little target. All right, here, let me show you, just in case. See that right there? Now, this is the June solstice. The sun is on that track. So if you look, the center is where it says that N, that's the center. That would be the center right there, okay? Now, do you see the sun? The sun is right there. It's within this first track. So let's go back to the center. And we see now that the sun is within this first track. So the sun is within here.
The sun is within 80 miles, 80 degrees north latitude. That is not what the Gleason map claims.
Which is why it says that the sun is visible for 24 hours right there at the Antarctic Circle, inside
the Arctic Circle. This guy can't read.
The circle, because the sun circles, and its circle, this is the amount, this is the light, basically, that sun is producing. So as...
Why would the sun make that pattern? What causes the sun to not be seen anymore in flat Earth? Is it because it's too far away? If it was because it was too far away, then the pattern would be a circle all the time. It would be the edge of that circle, whatever is too far away. But no, according to this map, it's some weird shape. Why that weird shape? No answer. One more thing flat earthers can't answer.
As it circles, that light shifts around, okay? Now, when we go into our December solstice, you can see that now the sun, there's...
All right, now, of course, that is not the, even on the Gleason map, that is not the pattern that the sun makes. But let's have a closer look at the text. The text on there. So let me rearrange this so you can read it a little better. It's important because this is a very specific claim that the text is making here. All right, almost. There you go. So here is the map that he's pointing to. Here's a map he is claiming is proof. Just the claim is proof according to him. How does that work? It does not work. Here is the text. On December 21st, the sun moves round the Tropic of Capricorn and during the day lights up the southern portion of the Earth from the Arctic Circle to some portion of Antarctic ice. There is no sunlight beyond 80 degrees south, but unknown regions of ice. Now, I was at 80 degrees south, and at local midnight, the sun was due south of me. So on this map here, I was at, you see where you see the outside circle is 90 degrees. And then, where the edge of the light is 80 degrees. Okay, you see that? That's where I was. And if you go over the left side of that map, and you put where that 80 degree mark is, that's where I was. But do you know where the sun was? According to this map, the sun would be north of me toward the center. But in fact, it was opposite. It was south of me, away from the center. Obviously, this is a lie. Anybody, and this video, I think, is more recent than that trip. But it doesn't matter. It's always been known since people have been exploring Antarctica that there is a 24-hour circling sun in Antarctica in December. So it's obviously very wrong. So anybody that pulls up this map and doesn't immediately feel embarrassed for how incredibly wrong it is, shows how incredibly oblivious to reality they are and how disinterested they are in being correct. But also, this is not the distribution of light on the dirt pizza, because that would not give you the 18 hours of daylight that we had when we were in Punta Arenas. That would not. That pattern wouldn't do it. Such a failure.
As your sun, it's no longer within this first track. It's no longer right here. It's actually moved further out. Okay, let's just count the track. So we got 1, 2. So it's all the way out here, which means that the sun, rather than doing its circle within right up here, it's a wider circle and it's going further out, further outward, which is...
He doesn't even realize he's so dumb that he doesn't even realize that the concentric circles on this little one here and the concentric circles on the bigger one are not the same number of degrees. I thought at first he was misunderstanding it, but no, he has said it multiple times. He actually thinks that the sun is 2 circles out from the center here. Therefore, it's 2 circles out from the center here, which puts it at 70 degrees north latitude. That's how incredibly dumb he is. He doesn't even get the wrong map right. How does he remember to breathe?
Is why we in this area get our winters now, because the sun is further away from us. And that's exactly what this whole entire map, like if you buy one of these, just read the bottoms. That's what this is trying to tell you, that during our June solstice, it's a local sun, and there's your sun, and it's closer to the center. So if you live anywhere in here, like I live in North America, okay, so the sun is closer to North America during this time. Now when it goes further out, that sun, it starts to go further out.
Still going the wrong direction.
Okay, and now you're going to have summer out here and winter in there, which is exactly what happens. And that's what this is saying. That's how it works. The sun circles. It's local, and it just circles, just like that. And that explains...
He can't even get the direction right on his wrong map.
Light and day and time zones in all of it. So I know a lot of you have probably seen this, but I don't think that a lot of people are really showing you exactly what's going on the bottom left and right hand side of the map.
Yeah, it's because they're incredibly wrong.
Never really zooming in and showing you exactly where that sun is. So we have a local sun. It's a local sun that lights locally.
Yeah. There are some consequences of having a local sun. Its distance from you varies dramatically throughout the day, number one. Its size must vary dramatically throughout the day. This is the law of perspective. For all their talk of perspective, flat earthers can't ever get perspective right, number one. Number two, what keeps the sun up? Number three, what causes it to go in circles? 4, what causes the circle's radius to increase and decrease? 5, when there is a solar coronal mass ejection, and then at some amount of time later, why is we get that a couple days later? Why is there a delay of a couple days when we get the interference and the cosmic rays from the sun on the earth? Why is it a couple days if it's local? Why is it that no matter where you are on this map here, no matter where you are, if you're south of where the sun is or north of where the sun is, when you look at it through a solar filter, you see the same portion of the sun, right? If I'll get an actual so here's a little moon, okay? Now, if somebody's over here, they see this portion of the moon. You see this crater here, right? If somebody's that direction, right, or right over here, they would see this crater, right? Now, somebody over here would not see this crater because it's on the wrong side, right? So if somebody's there and somebody's there, they're going to see a different portion of the moon. Same thing happens for the sun when you look at the sun through a solar filter. Why is that? Why does that happen? I don't know is not an acceptable answer, because I have an answer for the globe. to be okay in ignorance like that, it baffles me. Because if I were holding a position where it was so obvious that something like that didn't work, I'd say, oh crap, that doesn't work. Oh, jeez.
If you've ever traveled to the United States, I live in New England. All right, my family, my in-laws have a place in Arizona. It's a few thousand miles west. Okay, and their time is like when I'm, during our morning, the sun is coming up. It hasn't reached them yet.
Again, not possible on a dirt pizza.
It takes time to travel that way. And this local sun, flat Earth, is the only thing that makes sense.
That doesn't make any sense at all. It's like it's opposite world for this guy. Like he is saying things that don't make sense and then saying it's the only thing that makes sense. It's 180 degrees opposite of reality. If the sun were above this thing here, you would never not see it. You'd always see it. There's never anything in the way.
This tilting and wobbling on a ball, it's ridiculous. It's so silly. You need magic like gravity to make it work.
Gravity is empirically confirmed. Here's the magic. What keeps the sun up over your flat Earth? The answer to that is magic. Gravity we have evidence for.
All right, when there's no such thing as gravity. It's density, buoyancy, weight, mass. Come on. Knock it off. I love you all.
Do your research. When did he do his own research to come with the density buoyancy? All he did was parrot people.
This is my opinion based on my research, but you can do your own research.
I did my own research. You're wrong. Oh my gosh. All right. Itoria says all Flurf are disconnected from reality. Map or not, they are. All right. Now we've got this one here from Ramen. Look at Ramen comes in for $20. Thank you very much, Ramen. He says he yells, but I'm not going to yell. Says my appearance is imminent. Your model cannot physically demonstrate science. Can you demonstrate gravity having any ability to restrict, contain, or confine gas without a container per a hands-on demonstration? Oops. This is a common science denier tactic. They will contrive some sort of an experiment situation that they think is mandatory. Okay, while at the same, which is not mandatory, right? That's not the only way to confirm, but they've constructed these boundaries about it. This artificial, arbitrary. It has to be done this way. Why would it have to be done that way? No reason. It's just a way to deny the real ways that people have done it, and they try to put it in a box and say it has to be done this way. But number one. Number two, they can't do what they think their explanation for is. They can't do their thing under those same conditions. So, Ramen, can you demonstrate whatever causes things to accelerate downward, having any ability to restrict, constrain, or confine gas causing a pressure gradient without a container, right? The container part is, with a container, per a hands-on demonstration, right? So can you show a hands-on size demonstration of some sort of a sealed container having a pressure gradient regardless of orientation? Because you say there's no gravity, right? So you say there's no gravity, so that means that whatever you do, you don't, the orientation doesn't matter. So, it's over there. I'm not going to grab it. Right. So inside of a sealed container, right? Take that sealed container. Now, whatever is causing out here, outside the sealed container, whatever is causing the pressure differential that you can measure using a smartphone, whatever's causing that now has been isolated away. Okay. Inside the sealed container, it's isolated. Okay. So now take that sealed container where the pressure is higher at the bottom. And as you go up, pressure decreases, right? And now flip that container. Okay. Hands-on demonstration, Raman. How now the pressure needs to be high up here. Okay. You've isolated out whatever is causing it out here. So inside your hands-on demonstration, the pressure has to be high here and low here. Okay. This is important. This is important, Raman, because you think it is a mandatory thing to demonstrate with the hands-on, to do a hands-on demonstration for gravity, which is the cause of downward acceleration. Therefore, you also are bound by that same mandatory hands-on demonstration. So, if you cannot take your arbitrary, ridiculous science denialism rules that you've applied to gravity, right? If you can't apply that to your own thing, then I have no burden at all to show that it works in any particular way. So here's what I get to do. I get to choose how I demonstrate gravity. You can choose how you demonstrate whatever you think is the replacement for gravity. I choose to do that in multiple ways. I will show torsion bar measurements. I will show 13 tons of mercury inside a vat with balance scales. And the position of the 13 tons of mercury will cause acceleration differences on masses that are within the vicinity of the mercury. I get to do that. I will show you gas without a physical containment, and it's called Jupiter. You can look at it through a P1000 if you want. In fact, it is gas. We can measure the gas, determine what gases are there through spectroscopy. It's amazing. So anyway, if you can't live by your own rules, then I have no compunction to live by them either. I will provide evidence however I see fit. Jack Fetter says, using his flat earth mechanics, wouldn't the entire one side of the globe be mostly dark in December with that solar orbit? Yes, of course it would. Gleason's map is ridiculously wrong on that particular topic. Gleason was in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Antarctica wasn't very explored. The farthest south that any land mass is South America. And people living in North America and in England, which is where most of the mid and late 1800s derp about flat Earth came from, they didn't have fast communication, so they didn't know how long the daytime was in Punta Arenas in December. They didn't have that stuff easily at hand. They didn't have encyclopedias that had that kind of information readily available. So I can understand how common people wouldn't know that at 53 degrees south latitude, the daylight patterns are identical to 53 degrees north latitude, except they're mirrored 6 months and north-south. So, anyway, let's see here. Ramen. Oh, why did Ramen get deleted? Let's see here. All caps. Gas is more prevalent at ground sea level because this is the region where all gas is produced on the Earth. It appears to thin at altitude and has spent more time expanding further away from sea level. Well, that's trivial to falsify, Ramen. But you go ahead. Here's an idea for how you could falsify, test your claim, and show that it's correct. Get a sealed vessel, right? That doesn't have the gas being produced, right? Seal the bottom and don't have any gas production in it. Then, you're going to love this. Then put a barometer in it at the top and put a barometer in it at the bottom and see if there's a pressure differential. There's nothing producing the gas. So there should be, according to you, there should be zero pressure differential. Go ahead, do that. Conversely, you could take a vessel and turn it one way and have it produce gas. I don't know what you think produce gas means, because, like, for example, when grass, when plants produce gas, as you say, well, they're not actually producing gas. So a plant will take in carbon dioxide, CO2, and it will output oxygen, O2. One molecule of carbon dioxide gets converted into one molecule of oxygen. The same amount of gas molecules. Ramen, it doesn't even work. It's a 1-for-1. It's actually less than that, because now the oxygen doesn't even have the carbon on it. You just like, did you not take chemistry? You didn't? You must not have. You must have never taken chemistry. It doesn't work that way. Oh my gosh. It's so yeah, astrocate. Produce gas. It doesn't, it's like he thinks that there was nothing there, and then the grass and the trees just created oxygen from nothingness. It's it's so dumb. Oh, where's the nitrogen produced? Dick Wayne says. Oh, bless. Oh, Dick Wayne. Oh, so cute. Eric Burns says, unfortunately, chemistry isn't required in high schools everywhere. Here in Florida, only biology is required. Oh, well. And I have to say, just because he might have taken chemistry and then cheated to pass the class doesn't mean that he understands it. I do love it, Yerba Mate, Max. I love it when they just make up nonsense like that. All right, hold on. Let me grab. I got. Hold on. Now, this is not something that's designed for THC Show to do the only thing that he seems to be able to do. Seems like he's dedicated his life to one particular thing. And, whether or not that's acceptable to do, it's currently illegal in many states. So, Dick Wayne, the atmosphere... well, yes, of course, the atmosphere is primarily composed of nitrogen, but what is producing the nitrogen? You're going to need to show Dick Wayne and Ramen the process by which new nitrogen is invented. So go ahead, I guess. Anyway, so here's I'll show you this. This is a sealed vessel, right? So here at the bottom, this is Leslie Rohrer made this. I recorded this once, but then it wasn't a good recording, so I need to do it again. So here I've got a metal plate on the bottom, a conductive plate. It's a aluminum foil tape, and then we've got a wire connected to it. right? And so I can attach this to my multimeter. And then on the top, we put, here's another one, foil on the top, connected to a screw, connected to this wire. And so, right, I can put the multimeter on this one, right? And then place it on top and seal it. Now, we've created a vessel which can test your claim there, Ramen. Sealed on the bottom. See that? No new air can be introduced in the bottom. Okay. And the top is, this is tight fit. So it's not allowing air in. So anyway, so now there's our setup. Here's my phone. The earth, like it produces water and oil. Dick Wayne, you're going to need to do better than that, but I know you can't. I know you just think that saying things is all you have to do. That's obviously, that's what you think it is. You just get to say the earth produces nitrogen, and that's it. So to somebody that doesn't have a grasp on science or reality or how things work, you just say that, and you have accepted that as that's all it is, because you're an uncritical thinker, right? The rest of us look at that and we're like, well, we need to know the process by which that works. You are asserting that there's a process by which that works. Provide the evidence for it. But lacking that evidence, it's the same thing as always. That which is asserted without evidence is dismissed without evidence. So you need to show that there is a production of nitrogen that is different than just a modification of a state from carbon dioxide to oxygen, right? It has to be something in the air, something that wasn't there that is now introduced by it. And plants, to my knowledge, generally don't do that. In fact, beans are particularly good at removing nitrogen from the atmosphere. It's called nitrogen fixing. Sometimes people use beans as a cover crop. Cover crop means you plant something and that thing uses nitrogen. It actually consumes nitrogen, right? The opposite of what you're saying, but it takes it out of the soil often. And so you've got soil which doesn't have as much nitrogen in it. And so people will put fertilizer on it. Fertilizer is rated in NPK. The N is nitrogen. So you add nitrogen to the soil. You may choose to use coffee grounds. That's what we use. We put coffee grounds that we use, we put them into our compost pile. And sometimes we put them right on the dirt on the plants. We don't put them right in because that can be too harsh for it. So that's how nitrogen gets into the soil some ways, but sometimes you're like, okay, so we did our regular crops and now we want to fix some nitrogen into the soil and we'd rather not just put some ammonia in the soil, for example. So let's plant some beans. The beans take nitrogen from the air and then do a biological process and bind that into more complex structures in the soil so that then the next year the plants can come along and they've got more nitrogen in the soil available. It's really cool. All right. All that. Here is my barometer. We've got station pressure, 14.208 PSI. Let me see here if I can change that to hectopascals. Let's see if we get here. I want something with more sig fig than 1, 2, 3, 4 inches of mercury. What do we get? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, bear with me for a second. Go to Tor. We get 1, 2, 4. That might be all we can have here. That might be all that this this does as a reporting thing. Oh no, wait. All right. So PSI has got 5 sig fig. So we're going to do that. We got 14.208. Now, here's how it works. A rather ingenious thing here. All right. This is the caddy right here. So this caddy is 3D printed by Leslie Rohrer, and then it's got magnets embedded in it around the perimeter. And this ring goes on the outside, and it's got magnets embedded in it. And so it sits on the inside. You can see it's kind of cool. It sits in here, and it kind of locks into place because of where the magnets sit. So what we do is we put this inside. We put my phone on it. Okay. And then it goes inside like this. Let me get this on first. And there it is. Look at that. So now, from the outside, we can... all right, I think I got this on the wrong way. Oh, come on. All right. It fell, so hold on. I need to make sure you have to so one of these magnets is reversed north-south. So right, oh, there it is. Okay. So it has to be lined up correctly in order to get a good gripping. So all right. There it is. Okay. So now, isn't this great? You're learning. You're learning ramen and flurfers. This is what we call FE, free education. So where did the top? There it is. Okay. So putting the top on. There it is. I just voided my phone warranty. My phone is a 13, iPhone 13, so it's pretty old. Okay. So now we've got in here 14.208 psi. So I'll wait just a minute here. So 14.208 psi. You can't quite see it, but I can change the screen here so you don't see that. There we go. Okay. Okay. So there it is. It's right on the edge of the screen. 14.208 still. All right. All right, Jack Fetter says, I nominate we make Dick Wayne the official mascot of the channel. He'd be much like a dog, tilting his head every time he doesn't understand something. But you'd have to admit, it's adorable. It is. It is. There's so many things he doesn't understand. And he's happy. He's just happy to not understand. That's what's funny. Okay, so here I have 14.208 still. All right, now, if I raise it up, put it at the top and hold it there for a second. Who's a good boy? Dick Wayne, you're a good boy. All right. Bad dog. Don't drink your own piss. Dick Wayne, do not piss on the floor and then lap it up. Oh, again, he just won't stop. All right. Kevin Ventura from the Philippines. You can approve that. Joseph M says, I want to make one of those for my class. Do you have the plans for it? There's not much in the way of plans. It's just a hollow, clear plastic tube. All right, we're at 14.207 psi. So it's dropped 0.001 psi only. So, but it has dropped. So there you go. It dropped in pressure. 14.207 up here. I don't think you probably can't read it through. I don't know. Can anybody read that? That's why I need to film it like outside. They're 14.206. So it's dropped 0.002 psi. So not a lot, but there is a pressure differential that the phone is able to measure. So that's it. Isn't that great? So now I'll drop it back down. We'll see if that pressure comes back up. So I'll leave it there. Well, it's already at 14.208. So it's back to 208. So 207, 206 at the top and 208 at the bottom. So there is a pressure differential inside this sealed container. So Dick Wayne, ramen noodles. What is causing that pressure differential? Right? Now, whatever it is that you imagine is causing that pressure differential, since it is sealed, it must now maintain that pressure differential regardless of the orientation of this tube, right? It'll do that, right? It has to. Whatever is causing that pressure differential is isolated from the pressure differential out here. So anyway, also, I've got the wires here, wire here, wire here. And you know what? Some flurfs actually claim that there's electricity, an electrostatic differential that's causing this. And they say that there is a 100 volt per meter electrostatic differential. Well, that's easy enough to test because I can just put a multimeter on here, these two things here, and see if there's a 100 volt electrostatic differential. I've done that. Won't shock you at all to realize that there is no pressure, no electrostatic differential. But I can put one on here because I manufactured, with Leslie Rohrer's help, a circuit board to do exactly that. This is the actual circuit board right here. It is a bridge rectifier with a capacitor and an on-off switch, resistor to dissipate, and I can put more than 100 volt differential across that, and I can flip the polarity just by switching the contacts. And you know what happens? It doesn't change the pressure differential. Dick Wayne says, is there no air inside that tube? No, there is air inside that tube. You're missing the whole point, Dick. You and Ramen Noodles are claiming that, I think you are, Dick, that the pressure differential is caused by something creating new gases that didn't exist before down at the bottom here. Right? That's what you say. Because nitrogen and because plants make things. That's what you're saying. Right? And so I've isolated that. It's called controlling for the variable. Right? It's your claim. So we make one change. We've taken the independent variable, which is the ability for something to introduce new gas at the bottom. So, going to bed? Okay. Good night. Love you. Sleep well. Penguin, come here. She doesn't want to be in here right now. There she is. All right. Thank you. Come here, Penguin. 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 You didn't get the ant? There's an ant on the floor. She goes to see it. You're supposed to take care of it, Penguin. Not the great attack dog. Okay. So anyway, the independent variable is the ability for something to produce gas. I removed it, and guess what? We still have that. So we tested your claim and falsified it. Isn't that great? That's so fantastic. It is possible to test your claim, and I showed how it's worked. Now I need to record a little better video than just doing it here. So there you go. But you go ahead and do that. Astro Kate says Penguin is a good dog. Yes, she is. Replace your attack dog with an attack turtle. How come none of the stars in the sky have trails behind them? What in the what? All right. All right, Dick Wayne. All right, Dick Wayne. Anything? Any ramen noodles? Anything? You got anything? Anyway, I love just showing that to be the case, that they don't understand it. But all right, so whoever timed them out here, though, I just want to say, where'd it go? Well, whoever deleted his comment or timed him out, you don't need to do that. He wasn't saying anything that needs to be blocked for that, really. So, I mean, I think it's funny when Ramen Noodles come in here and says things like he does. It's pretty funny. It's probing time. Give him a chance. It's okay. Prevalent at ground sea level because this is the region where all gas is produced on the Earth. It appears to thin at altitude and as it has spent more time expanding further away from sea level. That is, I mean, that is so wrong in so many ways, Ramen. I love your commitment to being wrong. I do. It's so great. Chad Vanderwarp, what about what happened to the final experiment? It was fantastic. Flat Earth has been that has been in a tailspin since. And what are my thoughts on Peter Thiel and the WEF? I have no thoughts on that. I don't know who Peter Thiel is. And the WEF, the World Economic Forum, I don't know much about that. I'm the wrong person to be asking. I don't know what you're doing on this channel. I talk about flat Earth debunking and general science stuff, not seriously. I'm the wrong person to ask that. All right. Is Ramen Noodles, are you still here? I'd love a little response, a little feedback on what you thought of that tube there about the test. Chad Vanderwarp says, cheers, dude. Yeah, sorry, I don't get it. Oh, the flat earthers on Facebook, I have to say, have been getting dumber. They have. They're so dumb. Like it is. If you're not on Facebook to enjoy the dumb that is flat earthers on there, you're really missing out because there's so much. They're so dumb. Dick Wayne, Icy Spins. Nope. Left your cult about 12 years ago, bud. I'll not be in returning. Sir, you just have to accept this fact. Well, number one, Dick Wayne, you absolutely got roped into the flat earth cult by watching Eric DeBay videos. So it wasn't 12 years ago. He's been doing it about 10 and a half years. Number one. Number two, nobody wants you back. We don't want you back. Oh no. Oh, Dick Wayne, no. Please no. Never leave flat earth, Dick Wayne. You're the kind of person we don't want you here. We don't want you. Stay out of the globe. Oh, all right. Probing Time says, I didn't time him out, just deleted his shouting a whole chapter in all caps. Yeah. I mean, that's what he does. It's okay. It's fine. Like remember that this is them, leaving a legacy of dumb, right? He actually wrote that and thought that it was, he thought it was smart. He thought he actually had a point, right? And that's hilarious. So, all right, let's see. Did we get to GCAT up to 200? 123. Very nice. Okay, we still have 577 people here. So I'm going to ask one more time. It's pinned. The comment that's pinned up at the top there. Go subscribe to GCAT the Catstronaut, please. I'll grab the link here again, put it in the chat. Just go hit that. It's 2 clicks. Click that. Click subscribe. That's all I'm asking you to do. If you don't watch any videos, then you don't. But you know what? YouTube says, hey, more people think that's good. I think we'll put her videos in front of a few more people to see what they think about it. So Kevin Venture, Philippines, says, can you please take a minute and tell us how going to Antarctica changed you? It had to be an unreal experience. I can do that, yeah. So there's a couple ways. I live in Minnesota. I experience snow regularly and cold temperatures regularly. It was warmer in Antarctica than it was in Minnesota at the time. So the temperature part of it, the coldness, the ice, that was all very normal for me. I actually like planning for it. The idea is that, oh, we're going to Antarctica. We look at the videos of people that are like at the North Pole in June, right? They overwinter at the North Pole, and it's a whole different, they're like, you know, very much colder, a lot harder wind. But definitely the weather does get worse than we experienced. We just had really nice weather. So the weather wasn't as much of an issue as it could have been, right? They're like, you need to have, you know, wool as your bottom layer. Well, at home here, I don't wear wool as my bottom layer normally. Like if I'm going to go snowmobiling or going to spend a lot of time outside, I might. But we weren't doing that. Normally, I think a lot of the people that do go there do that. So it's more important, but we weren't doing that. We were just kind of chilling an awful lot of the time there. So, So I could have done fine wearing cotton. It wasn't that cold. But definitely if you're going to go there, you don't know what weather you're going to get. So do the right thing. So, Dick Wayne says, was a 2 or 3 minute video that made me question the globe ideology. Yeah. So it wasn't 12 years ago. Anyway, so in Antarctica, what really, one of the things that stuck with me now is there's no trees, there's no wildlife, no bugs, no, you know, animal paw tracks in the snow. My parents used to have a cabin farther north in Minnesota. We'd go there. The woods had tracks all over the place. There were woods. Number 2, there were animal tracks everywhere all the time. And there was none of that. The nearby mountains had no trees on them. Nothing. That really, like, it's just bare rock. So that has stuck with me a bit. How inhospitable it is and how we really had a temporary outpost, because they're only there at Union Glacier during the warm season, and then they leave. Right at the South Pole Station, they're there 24, they're 365, right, all year. But this is a temporary thing, and they pack it up and they leave. I think they say they leave just like a small amount of stuff there. But there's vehicles that were there, a lot of vehicles. There's a lot of equipment that was there, and all of this is flown in and flown out every year. Seeing the sun circle 24 hours a day, I'd never seen that, right? I don't live near enough north. The farthest north I've been, the farthest north I've been is Anchorage, which is 60 degrees north. That's it. So I've never seen the 24-hour sun in the north. So that was something. Being inside the mess hall and then going to go outside at 1 a.m. and thinking, oh, I better put on some sunscreen. That was quite something. And it was very harsh. The sun was very harsh. It was more harsh than in Minnesota in the winter, right? The sun bounces off the snow and into your face in Minnesota, and it does that there. But it's not 24 hours a day in Minnesota, but also the atmosphere is different, right? There isn't as much UV protection. So it wasn't, so in another sense though, it wasn't like a magical place, like, oh, we're here. No, it wasn't. There was no Narnia aspect to it or anything. It's just another place on the surface of the earth that's inhospitable and really cool to be there and very privileged to be there, but not like, I don't know. You go on Facebook Reels and you see people that put up these faked AI things of Antarctica, like, look what's behind the wall, and then that music that they put, the overlay music, like, no, it's just a place. Instead of trees and dirt, it's got ice and rocks. So, anyway, Bill, it doesn't matter how large it is. Do you know how a level works? A plumb level, you can't stick buildings in any direction on a sphere that makes them out of level or out of plumb. Yeah, you use the local gravity vector to figure out plumb, and you misspelled plumb. P-L-U-M-B, you missed. Anyway, yeah. And when you're at one place on the globe and then you move 10,000 kilometers away to another place on the globe, the direction of up is now 90 degrees from your previous direction. Yep. And so when you build a building at that spot 10,000 kilometers away, and you're just going to make it a straight vertical building and not some weird goofy angle, then it's going to go up from there, and it's going to be 90 degrees from the place 10,000 kilometers away. I don't know what the problem is. So, Silent Dave, like the fake AI one I saw today claiming there's a hole in Antarctica. Yes. So if you are on Facebook, jump on those reels and look at those, and be sure to comment calling them out. Right? People are doing that to fool people for money. That's what they're doing. They're tricking people for money. It's disgusting. Because there are people in there like, oh, it's so real. I can't believe that's in Antarctica. So, Dick Wayne's, how do you feel being so wrong? Flat Earth never started with Eric Dubé. I know when it was. I was driving in a garbage truck at the time, residential garbage route for the town I lived. Yeah, whatever. You watched an Eric Dubé video. I'm fully aware. I've got these books right up here. You see all these books up here? Most of them were written before Dubé. Right? I know the history of Flat Earth. I read the Garmin book. You should too. If you know what I'm talking about. Sucks to be you. Great book. I tried to get her to come on the show. She's like, nah. I also tried to get Jeffrey, Flat Earth History of a Bad Idea. I forgot the exact name of the book. I got it back here. I got the real books that back here, and the top left books up on the top left. So yeah, I've read them. I've read my share of Flat Earth literature. I'm aware of it. But I also know that the Flat Earthers today, you know, especially the ones that are like, I've been a Flat Earther for 12 years. They started with Eric Dubé. It was Eric Dubé. It was an Eric Dubé video that you watched. And everybody just wants to be the OG Flurf, right? But you're not, right? You're not. You're not the original woke, right? So yeah, it was an Eric Dubé video, Dick Wayne. Certainly was an Eric Dubé video. All right. Well, I have I've gone through that video, and it's been 3 hours, and so, and I still haven't gotten an email from Burnout, and I haven't received from Dick Wayne any description of optics that would cause the hub of the where'd it go? Let me find it. Let me get it. There it is. Hold on. I got to get it. There it is. There it is. Why is that hub? Why did that hub shift downward? Because when I apply optics, the optics that is based on empirical evidence says that hub should have been lifted up because of the optics, not shifted down because of the optics. So, Garwood, yes, Garwood is the correct one. Flat Earth History of an Infamous Idea. That is the book. I highly recommend it. It's one anybody, I did not know it was on there as a PDF. Oh, borrow is unavailable. Book available to patrons with print disabilities. Okay, good. I mean, I'm kind of good, right? It's new enough that it's not outside of copyright, so not having a freely available PDF is good. It's a great book. Go buy it. Go buy it. Go read it. Super good. Ben the Goat says flat earthers think it's a badge of honor being wrong the longest. Yes. Dick Wayne, whoop-de-doo. You think you are wrong longer than everybody else. Wow. You wrong. That's not, I mean, it's not a badge of honor. Okay, you know what? All right. I need to get this, because did you see the I mean, I'm glad that he did not get punched in the face, but Mikey Smith and his rubber chicken is absolutely hilarious. So let me, I'm gonna hook it up so we can watch it together. Mikey Smith, squawk that chicken, Mikey Smith. Now, normally if I make a song, I spend a bit more time on it than this one, but this one I did really quickly. I made it very quick. So how quick? I only made probably 15 different versions of it in Suno. So that, to me, like, normally I'll go through a long iterative process on Suno. Hold on. There we go. I'm hooking it in. We'll have it in a second. And the editing was super fast too. I did that whole thing as quick as I could. I had to get to bed. Yes, Mikey played it on his stream. I figured he would like it. Like, some people complained they thought I was being mean. He didn't get punched. And, you know, I thought the guy was being a bit rude, so. And Zebulon says that kid intentionally missed Mikey's face. Probably, yeah, yeah. Anyway, so people. Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
What time is it? It's time to phone a flip.
All right. Apologies for the. So, you know, normally I play it before and after I phone a flip, and I didn't play it after. So there, you've got that. Okay. Anyway, Mikey Smith, squawk that chicken. Tomorrow I will be with FDFE on his channel, so be looking for that. And I did ask 33WithTheSun if he would debate. He said he was ready. So if you could send him a message somewhere, if you could get to him, let him know I'm ready. Maybe next week he could be on here. Anyway, in the meantime, everybody, we'll see ya tomorrow.
Yeah, YouTube, of course. Yeah, exactly. That's a good one. That's good for the ladies to hear, right? They like that. When you swear. It's very attractive. Hey, ladies, if you want a real man, you might want to get somebody older. More mature. Huh? What the heck you doing, buddy? Hey, I got this on YouTube, pal.
Rolling down the highway, decals galore. Flat earth preacher, Mikey's out for more. With a bumper sticker sermon, scrolling neon lights. Spreading cosmic nonsense, picking verbal fights. Squawk that chicken, Mikey Smith. Preaching flat earth, the cosmic myth. Traffic preacher, making a scene, rubber chicken squawk. Know what I mean? Stop in traffic, tension thick. Mikey mocked a stranger, thought he was slick. The guy stepped out, said he had enough, delivered a lesson, calling Mikey's bluff. Squawk that chicken, Mikey Smith, preaching flat earth, a cosmic myth. Traffic preacher, making a scene, rubber chicken squawk. Know what I mean? A punch flew swift, Mikey took the hit. Rubber chicken hunked, he lost his wit. You're going to jail, Mikey loudly cried, but the crowd just laughed, shook their heads and sighed. The moral of the story, keep it cool and clear. Flat Earth's got no business causing trouble here. So don't harass your neighbor, don't provoke a fight, or a rubber chicken squawk might be your only right. Squawk that chicken, Mikey Smith, preaching flat earth, a cosmic myth. Traffic preacher, making a scene, rubber chicken squawk. Know what I mean? Yeah, Mikey Smith, with your theories and your squawk. Let's keep rolling, less preaching, more walk. Keep that chicken silent, keep the peace intact. Flat earth funk, that's a cosmic fact. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, now that all the sheep are out, let's go drive around and see how many people yell at me.